Right, there we go. And we are live on the interwebs.
La 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 la!
Look at this asshole who broke in.
What?
I don't know if it's actually live. I think it's live right now. It's usually live. But you know what, Jerry? I've been thinking, even though I'm married, I need a date, but I want someone who looks like my ex. Do you know anyone who can help with that?
Yeah, that Match.com place.
Oh yeah, I hear they have facial recognition now, so you can find people who look like your ex.
It's true.
Let's go ahead and talk about it right after the intro. Not again. Oh my God. All right, guys, what's up? Jayztwocents here, and I am with
Barnacules Nerdgasm.
You guys said that this would never ever happen, and yet here we are. And you know what? We actually have some topics here, not like last night's live stream that got a little bit weird.
Yeah, if you guys missed that, you might want to check it out because it'll make you reevaluate ever watching anything we do again.
we got a little bit weird. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring Twitter on up over here. I don't know if do you want to use your phone to follow Twitter on your side?
Yeah, I can follow the Twitter. Actually, I can be really professional and pull this over.
Oh yeah, Surface Pro.
I brought my Lenovo
that's right.
Lenovo X1 Carbone. All right.
So Jerry's gonna be helping keep up with the social Twitter sphere and the comments and stuff. And look at this. It's bugging out right now because I can't even see comments over here. You see this?
It doesn't matter.
They were there a second ago.
Yeah, they were. Here, just hit refresh on it.
Let's refresh the page. Okay, YouTube Live. And you know they bought Twitch. So this is what you guys can look forward to moving forward in Twitch. Yeah, see, there's no YouTube comments.
Technical difficulties are all part of being on YouTube. It just is.
That's what we do. So yeah, guys, we do actually have some topics and stuff set up here today. First topic number one, people seem to be asking lately, and especially since we don't know how long it's going to be happening for, Battlefield 4 Hardline thoughts.
Yes.
Now, it's kind of a limited sphere. We can only see one map, 2 game types, very limited weapons.
Yes.
And it's buggy as hell.
It's mega buggy. Just like with Battlefield 4 when they start out. I'm not going to say, though, that it seems more stable than Battlefield 4 was when it first shipped.
Oh, by far.
Battlefield 4 when it first shipped literally crashed like every 3 seconds. Like if the building fell down, the game would crash.
Let's clarify the kind of bugs we're getting. Battlefield 4, you guys know, was like, let's just crash you to desktop every 5 minutes.
Pretty much.
That was annoying. But these bugs you're seeing in Hardline are just like graphical glitches.
They're mostly graphical glitches that I've been seeing. I've been seeing weird stuff like just random beams of light coming down from the sky.
Well, that was
like
Jesus.
Nothing.
That's Jesus.
Oh, was that? I didn't realize Jesus was a part of the game. I'm sorry. Okay,
is.
so that's the Christianity.
How do you think you get to reincarnate, respawn?
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually coming back from the dead. Okay. Yeah. I got it. Never mind. That's not a bug. But anyways, there's many other bugs in it, like people teleporting. I noticed that the teleporting's kind of bad.
It's funny, though. Like when you were in the car and the helicopter spawned on the ground and then went up in the air and people bailed out.
Yeah, I was driving. There's people in a helicopter. And then the helicopter appeared, just magically appeared in front of my car. I hit it. And then it magically appeared again up in the sky, and everybody jumped out of it and parachuted. So the helicopter dropped 300 feet. I smashed into it. It went 300 feet back up in the air, and then everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's on fire!" And they jumped out. And it gave me the points for disabling the helicopter, even though I hit it while it was in the sky.
The helicopter roadkill from a car. It makes me wonder what their perspective was.
It's got to be like, "Oh, we're flying along, shit, forward focus."
But I mean, I haven't had too many crazy glitches. Like the helicopter, we all know, the Gatling gun. It's like hanging off the side of the aircraft and it's just flying all around. Little things like that. You can run over friendlies with your vehicle. I don't like that.
That was a little weird because there's not friendly fire, but you can kill people with vehicles.
The only way in Battlefield 3, there was a way where you could do it where if you were driving towards a friendly, but you bailed out right before, the car could then run him over.
I do remember that. Or you could put explosives on the car, too. I remember, and if you jumped out and fired the explosives, the explosion from the explosive didn't kill him, but the car exploding would. Yeah.
But they fixed that later in Battlefield 3 and then Battlefield 4. You couldn't do that. But now, I mean, do you know how many times I've spawned like it's the police?
Yeah.
Just to spawn and get ran over by the mobile command unit as he's leaving?
The spawn logic is really, really stupid. The other thing that really bothers me about the game is the hit detection is really strange. Like, I noticed that with a submachine gun, I shouldn't be able to hit a sniper from 1,000 yards away. And I noticed that when I'm shooting, if you do this, prone down, start shooting at a sniper with a small machine gun, UMP-40 or something from 1,000 yards, and you'll see the bullets. And they're not going anywhere near him, yet you still see pop, pop, pop. 1 out of 3 or 4 is hitting him.
Now they're up. But you know what's funny, though, is the snipers, on the other hand, with their DMRs and their semi-auto rifles, can just mash the shit out of the button and they get no recoil.
Yeah. It's it's got a bunch of funny, but it's a fun game.
I will have to admit, I've had more fun so far in Hardline on this one map and these two these two play types, which is Heist and Blood Money, and more fun than I've had in any match of Battlefield 4 ever.
I like how fast-paced it is. I do. Like you were saying, you had
10-minute games.
You had the best description. The best description. Jay said that it's a mashup of Payday the Heist and Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And it totally is, because when you start the game, you can buy your loadout, you can buy new weapon upgrades and stuff like that. You could do stuff kind of like that in Battlefield 4, but it wasn't quite the same. It's a much more Counter-Strike-ish system where you spend money and you get the upgrades, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get upgrades by collecting money, both as cops and robbers. And it's not so much skill-based, and you can save up all your money and buy it, at least if it holds true to the demo format, you could buy something farther down the line simply because you skip the other upgrades. You could just not have to follow an upgrade path and force yourself to get to that weapon by playing all the other things you don't want to, which I kind of liked. You know what's really weird? This is all based on the same engine that we're used to, the Frostbite engine.
Yep.
But I cannot play Mechanic, which is the same as Engineer in Battlefield.
Yeah.
I played Engineer in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Collectively, I've got over 100 service stars in that one class in both games. But I cannot do anything with Engineer in that game. But yet, the class I never ever play is Support, which would be like the Heavy Gunner.
Yep.
Or what they call it here, Enforcer.
I think it's the Enforcer.
I love it. I love the Enforcer class.
Yep.
I love putting down ammo. I love the weapons. I love the play style. But I don't know. Maybe it's just... It just feels so new to me. I'm having fun with it. I just hope it stays. I hope it stays true to the way it feels now. But I'm worried.
Yeah, they need to do a lot of balancing in the game, because one thing I noticed is the RPG is so overpowered.
Yeah,
like you play Battlefield 4, it's like the RPG really can't one-shot anything except for maybe an ATV.
It's got ridiculous splash damage.
It's got so much splash damage, and plus if you're in a car, all you got to do is like tag that thing in the quarter panel, and it's like boom, it explodes and takes out everybody inside.
Talking about taking out cars. In the Enforcer, shooting that LMG, you can blow up a car in about 10 seconds worth of bullet fire. As they're coming at you, you can just and the car explodes.
Dude, I blew a car up with a pistol. At a car coming at me that was on fire, and I'm like, tap, 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 tap. I'm like, it seems like in Battlefield, the small weapons don't do, like, almost nil damage.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was able to actually finish off a car with a couple of rounds, that was really weird. And that's happened once or twice.
I did notice that I think it was a 1911. I'm not sure exactly what handgun it was, but it had a little red dot sight on it. As the car was driving away, I think I put 5 shots into it and it exploded. I'm like, maybe it's like Michael Bay, I hit the gas tank. I don't know.
You ever notice how the motorcycles can just drive over everything, too?
Remember we flipped over a van?
Yeah, we flipped a van with a motorcycle. Literally slammed into the van, got up underneath it, and flipped the van over. And somehow we were both still alive. No damage. Yep. And then the other one was I pulled up to a car, and I hit the shift key, and it literally popped the wheelie and, like, went up on the car, over another car, over a piece of a busted crane, and just kept on going.
Yeah, the crotch rocket.
Yeah, it's like, the crotch rocket bike can just drive over everything.
There's definitely some balancing issues that need to be worked out.
It's weird, though, because it's stuff that it seems like they've had all these types of problems before.
Yeah.
It almost feels like, that's the thing with Electronic Arts, is like, do they actually ever learn anything from their past mistakes?
Remember, EA is not the one that's making it, but
that's true.
I don't remember the name of this company that's actually heading up the development of this. But either way...
Isn't EA publishing it though?
EA publishes it, but they're still not.
You don't know who the?
I don't remember. It's not DICE. It's in conjunction with DICE. You know what I just realized? I forgot to tweet out the stream. Let me do that real quick, guys. If you want to share this unprecedented moment of both of us in the same room at the same time with your friends and family, you need to tweet this out. Let's see.
Tell all your friends, tell all your families, tell your ex-wives and ex-husbands, and tell their new mates if they got them. Which we're going to talk a little bit about that later, just like we did in the intro. Oh, that's some creepy stuff.
But yeah, Jerry and I last night, late night, impromptu, about 10:45 at night, we said, hey, let's play some Hardline. And I said, well, why don't we stream it? And like I said, things got really weird.
It was fun, though. All said and done, I think Hardline, they've got a really good idea going on. Is it a unique idea? No, it really isn't. The one thing that's nice about it is even though it feels like a mashup of two games, it's a natural mashup. The fact that you have helicopters and vehicles and stuff like that was missing from Payday. Mm-hmm. Like, in a heist, that seems like a legitimate thing to have. Like, you're not going to go rob a bank and then run out into a stationary vehicle and just sit there and it's going to be like, oh, game over, you won. And here's, that's what Payday was like.
This is true. People are saying we're oversaturated, so I'm trying to fix it. Sorry, guys.
Oversaturated or overexposed?
Oh, both. The light, there's a window right here. The sun is getting low. The light
We're
is
in
changing.
sunny California. This ain't that Washington shit you're used to watching on my stream.
Whoa.
What?
You have jaundice.
Did you make me into an Oompa Loompa?
I did, accidentally, I guess.
Damn you, Jay. Damn you. All to hell.
All right, that should be a little
Did you
better.
seriously not tag me in the tweet about the stream?
No, because I figured you'd make your own.
Dude, do you even tag, bro?
You're going to be that lazy streamer who's like, oh, I'm just going to retweet the tweet.
I'm going to go tweet it on here, and then I'm going to take it over, and I'm going to tweet it on... I'm not going to tweet it. I'm going to copy it and put it on Facebook, and then I'm going to go over and put it on Pinterest. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to put it on Pinterest.
You pin, bro?
I do have a Pinterest, and my really hardcore fans do find it.
Really?
Yeah, but not a lot. I mean, I think I've only got 37 followers over there, and now I'll probably have like 400 more.
And if anyone wants to make a smart-ass comment about my drink, because you guys know I don't drink soda, this is actually Arnold Palmer tea.
Yeah, we were actually drinking this last night. It's strong stuff, man. It made us do all kinds of
Hell,
silly, willy-nilly things.
Everyone thought we were drunk. They're like, oh my god, it's like another drunk stream. We were completely 100% sober. That's what's so funny about that.
Here, I'm gonna YouTube this out and say, it's happening! Exclamation point, bring a friend!
Oh, jeez.
Bring a friend!
I'm gonna put the mic underneath this real quick so it's not so loud.
Oh, from all the bumping and stuff?
Yeah.
I know, I got fat arms, dude.
You.
It's like a bang
I'm
stuff
banging
around,
on it, too.
you know?
I'm banging it, bro.
Banging it.
Banging it, bro. All right, so that's Hardline. But what I started to say earlier that worries me about this is, you could see that they have an early pre-order digital deluxe edition for $80 or $70.
And how is this a deal?
That's the part that bothers me.
What happened to $59.99?
Even if it was $59, that price bothers me because it still feels like a major mod.
It does.
It feels like a major mod. They're charging premium retail, full standalone copy.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know yet if there's going to be a campaign, a decent campaign, or how many multiplayer modes there are.
Yep.
But inevitably, there's going to be a separate premium subscription. They're going to nickel and dime you to death. They're going to have their fast pass or season pass. For like the unlocking of guns and things.
Well, regardless of whether EA made it or not, they're going to follow EA's model of business. And EA's model of business is keep everything's an extra. Microtransactions. And that's just an unfortunate thing that we have to deal with if we want to play these games. But I do agree with you. If I think back to like
hold on, Mutation 666. Do I realize it's a ton of sugar? Absolutely not. There is 5 grams of or 5 calories per 8 ounces in this drink. I get the sugar free. All right, so don't pretend like you know me, bro.
Yeah, Mutation 666.
Don't pretend like you know me, bro.
Yeah, you want to see something? You want me to show you something right now? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to show him anything.
Jerry is better than Jay. Well, hey, Mike Slayer, you can go wait for Jerry on his channel and kindly remove yourself from the chat. That'd be good. Okay,
Mike, why would you even say something like that, buddy?
So, any closing thoughts?
That's it. Just kill the stream. We're done. No, I'm just kidding.
Any closing thoughts on Battlefield Hardline?
The only thing I was going to talk about a little bit was Battlefield 1942. You remember that? That was like the big Battlefield that started it all. I
loved it. The graphics sucked, but the gameplay was perfect.
That's right. But do you remember like the community made mods like Desert Combat? Yeah, Desert Combat was amazing. It took that game and made it everything that it wasn't. And I really like stuff like that. Now it seems like EA is taking like Battlefield 4 and almost just adding like another scenario to it. Almost like it could just be an add-on to Battlefield 4. Pack. It does. It literally does. It doesn't seem like it really stands alone. But I do like the comical aspect of it too, where it's like when you rob the bank, you have the giant bag on your back that's just spewing out hundreds of dollars behind you and stuff. Mm-hmm. It almost looks like they didn't try to make it look entirely realistic. They wanted to be an arcade-ish type game, and the damage model supports that. Mutation,
the guy giving me a hard time about the sugar, says it's worth $30. I would pay $29, $30 for it and not feel bad.
I'd pay $30, yeah.
I never pre-order games. So I'm gonna let it go live. I'm gonna see how people enjoy it. I'm gonna watch some streams, see what the game's all about, what is in the game that we're not seeing. Remember, guys, early access or betas are just tiny pieces of the game.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot more to it that makes it more fun. I'm a bit sad at the lack of vehicles, quite honestly. But I liked the large maps of Battlefield. I like the jets, the tanks, the artillery.
And especially Battlefield 4 demonstrated that you could create an enormous city of complexity, massive amounts of vehicles and everything, and the computer could handle it.
And Levolution.
Yeah. So that's what I don't understand is why they're starting off such a small scale when they already have proven that such a big scale works. But like you said, DICE created that versus another company creating this. But I'd have to think, because EA is the publisher on both sides, that there would be some trading of assets there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is the Battlefield franchise after all.
I tweeted the stream was live 8 minutes ago. I guess. Okay. I don't remember. Do you even tag, bro?
Do you even tag, bro?
The
memes are already coming in. Guys, we love the memes. Feel free to screenshot any segment of this and meme the hell out of it. We get a kick out of all of them.
They make it completely worth it.
I hit everything in this room.
I know.
What you guys don't realize is Jay's camera makes this room look huge. It isn't. This room is like 5 by 5. Like right now, our arms are touching the wall.
Hold on.
Yeah. It's like I'm just kidding. It's not that bad.
It's a 12 by 12.
But I literally hit my arms and knees on everything in this room. I've already hit my head on the shelf. I've hit my knee over here on the desk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you poor thing. Are you just covered in bruises?
No, I can navigate this room in the dark. My room, wall to wall, is about the same as your room. Open floor space after everything you have on the walls.
This is true.
But the fact I make it work.
Guys, do us a favor. This has been a long time in the making to get this all going. If you guys are enjoying the show, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to Jay and myself if you like our content. If you don't, you're just enjoying the show, hang out. That's cool too. Go retweet us on Twitter, Facebook, any social networks you have, Reddit, 4chan. I'm just kidding. Don't do it on 4chan. Just stay away from that place.
I would even probably stay away from Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit's a little dicey too. But you know what? Hey, we're not going to tell you what to do if you want to put it out there because we want more people to find the show. And you guys are the only way to make that happen because we're just small little fishies in a big old sea.
The WAN show is much better. Why are you even here then, bro?
Yeah, why are you here?
Jay, have you played Crysis 3? I personally think it looks better than Battlefield 4. Of course, I've played all the Crysis from the first Crysis in 2005 or 2006, whatever it was, all the way up through 3. I didn't buy 3 because for me, I really enjoyed the campaign of Crysis, but Crysis 3 to me became the pinnacle of feeling like all they cared about was multiplayer. Because Crysis 2 and Crysis 1, they had multiplayer, but it wasn't like the basis of their game. But multiplayer games and shooters took off after after 1 and 2. So they were like, okay, well, let's make this awesome multiplayer aspect, and we'll just put in kind of a campaign to appease the campaign owners.
That's pretty much to the same point. The reason why I didn't like Crysis is the first one was actually a really engaging game. It was a graphical milestone. It was everything. It was really, really good. And then I felt like after that, because so many people liked it for being a graphical milestone, like how hard you could push your computer, I almost feel like Crysis' response to that was, okay, let's just make every other game just focus 100% on making the graphics the most amazing, GPU raping thing possible, and not care about the gameplay anymore.
Yeah, Crysis 1 had some pretty bad optimization issues.
Yeah.
Where even people with like 8800 Ultras and
I remember my friend
SLI,
had to have two 8800 or was it 8800 GTXs?
Yeah.
And back then those cards were what? They were like 800
those
or
were the
1,000. They were the top ones.
They were like the 762 meg version.
Yep, he had to have 2 of those and a power supply, and even with all that on a single screen playing at 1080p, I think he was still only getting like 60 frames per second or something. That was ridiculous.
Which went to show how the game was just so horribly poorly optimized.
It was, definitely.
So, all right, moving forward here, I like the note I left. Stupid Fire Phone. The stupid Fire Phone.
The stupid Fire Phone. Yeah, this is our topic note
you
here,
hit
guys.
that one off. Go ahead. You know
all right,
about
so we talked about this in the last show, and that is that Amazon had this magical device that they were going to unveil, and all they did was give us that video. And we played that video during our show, and if you guys recall, our show actually got taken down, and we had to talk to them, and they let us put it back up.
That was the last live show we had.
That was the last live show. That's right. And so anyways, all they showed was video of people just basically looking down at a device of some kind and going, oh my god, that's cool, I'll use it every single day. And they were really enthusiastic about it. Well, it turns out they finally released it, and it's called the Fire Phone. And this is Amazon's offering into the phone space.
And we completely nailed it on the guesstimates of what it was going to be. We thought maybe a 3D camera. It does have facial recognition tracking with 4 cameras on the front.
Yes.
The layout of the phone looks like they nearly copied iPhone 5 to the exact dimensions.
That's what I thought too. Yep.
Even the icon layout.
It's like they took Android as the foundation, but then tried to put iOS as the face.
Yeah.
Like hybrid it together. And even the phone itself, if you look at the dimensions of the phone, it strikingly resembles an iPhone. It generally does. But it has 4 cameras. It has 2 cameras up in the top, 2 cameras at the bottom, and they claim they're incredibly low power consumption. So apparently the thing is supposed to have a decent battery life.
Always on.
They're always on. And big brother there, right? But anyways, you've got these 4 cameras, and what they do is they allow you to do a parallax effect by scanning your face, tracking where your face is in relation to the phone, and basically tricking your brain into thinking by drawing the plane that it's there's a 3D depth of field there, even though it's technically a flat 2D surface, which I think is neat. But there's a couple problems with it. One, that 3D effect is only going to work for you. It's not going to work if somebody else is looking at the phone with you. Now, granted, it's not going to look distorted or anything to them. It's just the perspective isn't going to be right.
Right.
And the other thing is it only seems to work with a couple things now, most of which are built into the phone. You have your app has to be specifically designed to take advantage of that functionality.
Right.
And so I'm looking at that, and I'm like,
so we're talking new APIs that have to be designed for this.
Yeah, this isn't going to be. I mean, that's the thing is, it has to be adopted. It doesn't bring everything instantly to the table. And to be quite honest, is 3D that important on a device that small? As an example, let me cite Game Boy. Remember the 3DS?
Yep.
They came out with the 2DS. Remember that?
Yep.
They came out with the 2DS because all the 3DS did was push up the price.
Nobody wanted 3DSs.
Everybody disabled it. Like, oh god, I'm hitting everything. But anyways, nobody wanted that 3DS because of the screen. And I'll be honest, I had a 3DS. First time I used the 3D feature, I was like, this is pretty awesome.
But then it got old quick.
It gets old. It hurts your eyes after you play for more than like 10, 15 minutes. The effect actually makes it harder to play the game most of the time.
Yeah.
And unless the game is directly designed to really take heavily advantage of it, like a puzzle game, it really doesn't give you any benefit.
And it still looked grainy.
And it still looked grainy. So I just don't see 3D effects on a screen that small being that, that important. So I feel like it's a huge gimmick. Now, as a phone, I think it's a fairly decent phone. I mean, I looked at it. It's basically based on the Android operating system, so it should work with all the existing Android apps and games and all that stuff, which is a huge library. I mean, honestly, I think the iOS library is actually smaller than the Android library. I think the Android library is the biggest app market out there. So I think that's cool, but I think the 3D thing's kind of a gimmick, and the way that they're marketing it and keeping it secret and everything like that,
It's basically the exact same thing Apple did, but they did it with the gyro.
Yeah, it's exactly.
With the cameras.
Yeah.
A little bit more depth than the app.
Well, yeah, actually, has. I mean, a lot more depth, because really the parallax effect on the iPhone only works for the background.
But I don't understand why. I don't care. I wouldn't care about that. I'm not. And obviously, I don't represent the masses, just me. But it's not. I've gone in before and even disabled that tilting function in the iPhone.
Check out. So Cameron, what is it? We got Cameron Dennis, what is it, Rosenfeld?
Nintendo Virtual
He said,
Boy.
anybody remember the Virtual Boy? I absolutely remember the Virtual Boy, and I remember the commercials for the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
I remember those commercials made you think, oh my god, this is going to be virtual reality. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember how disappointed I was the first time I went to a place and I played it. I'm like, first of all, you didn't strap it to your head. You stuck your eyes up to it on a stand because it was too damn heavy. And the other thing was, talk about a 3DS giving you a headache.
Yeah.
That thing gave you migraines. And Nintendo never sold any of them because 99.9% of the people that used it got physically ill.
I'm one of those people who, you've seen my TV. It's a 3D. That's a 3D TV in the living room. It is not once has a 3D been engaged on it, or have I ever owned a 3D pair of glasses for it, because my eyes do not do the 3D.
No.
My brain freaks out trying to make sense of it. I can't go to 3D movies. I can't go to IMAX or any of that.
And plus the glasses, the LCD shutter glasses always are like sunglasses.
Yeah, they
take away from the brightness and the contrast. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
Some people swear by it, but I think it's the minority. Because when I talk to people, it's mostly the very few that enjoy it. Like me, I bought a 3D projector.
Yeah.
I bought an Epson Powerlight projector that does a 240 hertz, does the 3D, has the glasses that work off RF. So
but you just watch it in 2D on your wall.
I've only watched 2 3D movies on the thing since I've had the projector. The rest of the time I disable it. And the main reason is, unless you're in the dark room with the lights out, it takes away from so much of the contrast.
Right.
If you're watching a dark movie like Star Trek Into Darkness,
right,
you miss half the movie.
Yeah, because everything's the same shade of gray.
Yeah, it's like going to the movies and watching it with sunglasses on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit of a gimmick. I mean, I get that they're trying to come up with something new, because let's be fair. And I'm sure someone in the video, or one of the 519 people out there probably already thought to themselves, well, wait a minute, Jay, the last live stream you're talking about, you said tech is stale, tech is boring. Here's someone trying to present something new and you're shitting on it. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, that's not the new thing I'm waiting for. Yeah. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I know the moment I saw that wasn't it.
The other thing is, too, is I don't consider this new at all. I do.
True. The fact 20 years ago, 25 years ago with the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, and plus the fact that head tracking has been around facial recognition and head tracking has been around for a very long time. Granted, this is the first time it's been presented with 4 cameras, real-time accuracy in a mobile device. I think it's going to actually have future applications.
Right.
Like if your TV did it in your room and you didn't have to wear glasses and it tracked your face and everything and did the same type of thing, I think that would actually be pretty cool.
Now the cameras can't be accessed for anything other than that feature, right?
That's, as far as I understand it, those 4 cameras are purely just for that feature.
Well, let's see here. I do have some pictures of it up over here. In fact, I forgot to even switch the scene. This is it right here. I mean, tell me that doesn't look like an iPhone right there. Tell me that doesn't look exactly like an iPhone with the camera on the side rather than above the speaker.
Literally, I think if you showed that to 9 out of 10 people would immediately say that.
Yeah, what phone is that? Oh, it's an iPhone. Wait a minute.
It's got that glassy front. It's got that bezel, the metal bezel around it. I mean, it's iPhone-ish.
Right. I mean, there's their Kindle Fires, but I'm looking for more pictures of the actual phone here. I don't think I see any. But yeah, this looks exactly like an iPhone to me, and that's what kind of bothers me about that. Watch this video get flagged now because it recognizes the image.
It probably does. It's going to track it just like the last one.
Jeez. So let's go ahead and get that back out there quick. But
go away.
I think people look at it too like, wow, the iPhone sells so good because of its style. So everyone, I mean, it feels like people are trying.
It does. It is a bigger device, though. Like if you saw it side by side, you never say it's an iPhone because it is physically larger. But I'm just saying the overall design
scaled up slightly. Mm-hmm. Which iPhone 6 likely is supposed to be the same thing.
But I'm curious to see how they're going to use it. If somehow they find a way to leverage that 3D effect in a practical way,
yeah,
I think it could be good. But just in my head, I can't think of it because I've used so many 3D things. I've used things like the Oculus Rift, which I really like and think has a lot of potential, but based on a large, high-resolution screen, not a small screen. I've yet to see a small screen device where 3D made any difference.
Mine's the white phone, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I mean, if you see, you can even see the button sticking off the side, kind of the same. They moved the power button, I think, to the side, although it looks like there might be a button up there. But yeah,
it's very similar looking.
Your phone's black. They look nearly exactly the same. Now, but they came up with, I don't know if it's actually called Fire OS, but people were dubbing it Fire OS.
Yeah.
Which really is just like Amazon's, I mean, like even the Kindle Fire.
Yeah.
But my wife has the original Kindle Fire, not the HD, the first one.
Yep.
It's just like a stripped down version of Android.
It is. It's basically like Android with a new front end on it.
Right.
And most people put their own front ends on it. When you go buy an Android phone, very few of the carriers just give you a raw Android experience. Most of them put their own shells on there and everything.
Yeah. No Android Play Store equals shit. And that's the thing. My wife's Kindle Fire, you couldn't get to Android Play.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to lock it out because technically it was a competitor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm wondering who their target demographic is. I mean, because Amazon, let's face it, they have apps and they have the streaming and stuff, but Amazon is a shopping site.
It is.
It's an online shopping site. So who is their target demographic with this? It's not going to be teenagers or
well, the thing you got to realize though is Amazon has one of the largest Android marketplaces there is for apps and stuff like that. So imagine if they expand on that and they start having proprietary apps that are just for this device, and you had access to all the Android devices or all the Android apps plus the proprietary apps, because that's how you win in a war like this. It's not, can you just run your stuff? It's, can you run everybody else's stuff plus your stuff and nobody else can run your stuff? That's how you win.
Right.
Because then you have the broadest ecosystem. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what people want. They want to make sure that they get the app first, the best experience. Damn it, this thing keeps going to sleep on me.
Just trying to save some battery, man.
Don't you go to sleep on me. I need you to stay awake so I can watch the Twitters. I want to watch the Twitters.
That's a lot of dots in your password.
I know, right? I know. All
right, we'll get off this topic. People are like, stop beating this horse, because most people don't care.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, it's a phone. Another phone.
You know, we should probably have segued into this other topic after we did Battlefield. I put this in the wrong order.
Screw the order.
All right, so there's an article on Kotaku about EA has a good plan to make their games better.
Flip it up.
All right, well, guys, this is... Where did it go?
Oh, my God.
Where did it go? All right. So,
learn the button click.
Kotaku. EA has a plan to make their games better. Now, here's the thing. We have not read this article yet.
We haven't read it. We just, all we saw was the title. That was it.
Now, we were talking about EA being involved in things, being the publisher, making executive level decisions for these developers. So we're going to read this article together pretty much and have some raw reactions.
And we laughed hard when we saw this. This is one of those headlines that just caught our eye. Because it's like, it's funny, because the first thing you think is EA, just everything that's been coming out from EA lately has had some problem associated with it.
Yeah.
Just like everything. So we saw this title, it's like, oh, EA finally is going to be like making better games. So how are they going to do that?
Okay, so CEO Andrew Wilson explained to this editor for Kotaku in LA that the reoccurring theme is it could have been summed up in a word, early or maybe earlier. So all these changes or things they're talking about have a centralized theme of something needs to happen sooner.
Correct.
Which apparently the very first thing on the list is make sure the game plays well, ... sooner. How about you make sure the game plays well the moment it ships?
I just like this because it's like it's Captain Obvious. I love it when like, you know, a CEO or a representative of a company comes forward and just starts spouting these things that are completely common sense.
Right.
Like come forward and say, you know, we really need to make sure that these things play better, and we're going to do that by this, this, and this. Not like, I think the problem we need to solve here is we need to make a game that people want. You know, it's like, come on,
we're going to make people want our game.
We need to make a game that runs on a PC. You know, it's like, it's just, come on, really?
Well, remember, EA did start out as a sports franchise publisher.
That is
EA
true.
Sports. It's in the game.
It's
remember
in the game. Except for now it's like EA Sports. It's in the game.
EA Sports. We eat your money.
EA Sports. No. It's EA Sports. buy it now. Again.
Yeah. EA Sports, buy it again.
Buy it
again. And again.
EA Sports, DRM.
All right, so they're going to make sure the game plays well sooner. His quote is, "We have really gone in and fundamentally changed the development process," William says. So the time from alpha to final is now significantly longer, so we're asking teams to be finished earlier, aka putting more pressure on them.
Exactly.
We are also looking at teams saying, you have to maintain a playable build from the very first conceptual phase so we can be testing stability and or scalability all the way through the development process. That already proves they don't understand development.
Yes. Okay, I am a career software developer, and the one thing that I can tell you is that's a bullshit statement, because when you're developing software, you do have to break the build. You can't always have you can't always have a usable entity. That's why usually they build in different segments and they bring features together as they begin to work. You can't maintain a perfectly functional build
You
from
bumped the mouse, it booted the computer. Remember
is that what made that noise?
Remember I told you that it's not set to wake on mouse, but it's still doing it?
Yeah, that's weird.
If
Here,
you
I'm going to flip your mouse over.
If you click the mouse, it turns on the computer.
What have I done?
It's got gremlins.
So anyways, in the development process, guys, there's no way to maintain from the beginning a functional, playable build. You have to basically create broken things and fix them as you go. You identify the issues and fix them as early as possible before they contaminate the larger product.
The sad part about this is your company is much larger than my company, but yet the culture is the same. We have these project managers that are in there. They want hard deadline or hard timelines, and which are there's no such thing in development.
Right.
And they also want to make sure that, just like this, from day one, that all the unforeseeable issues are foreseen, which is impossible, and that there's no deviation from the outline.
Yeah.
And that's again not possible. So it sounds to me like EA is being that project manager level above development who has no clue about it.
Yeah.
The only thing you can even remotely say can make sense and not deviate from beginning to end is blueprints and construction. And even then, there are things that happen along construction you have to overcome.
Yep.
But at least that makes more hardline sense to say, we can follow A to Z and not deviate much from the plan. Development, it's not that way.
Yeah.
Especially, not to mention, technologies change in development, usually from the start of a project like this to the end. Languages change, there's developments, API changes, new hardware.
Literally anything can change.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have to be able to deviate from their plan. And EA is now saying here that they want them to be fundamentally sound from the conceptual planning phase through to the through alpha into beta and into retail. That is not realistic.
That's going to come at the cost of innovation.
You know what that sounds like to me?
What?
Battlefield 4. They already did that. And not only that, they pressured them to put it out sooner. Again, that theme we're seeing here.
But that's the problem, is these are conflicting objectives.
Yeah.
You're basically telling them to release a build earlier by keeping it in a perfectly functional state, but in order to keep it in that perfectly functional state, you can't add functionality to it because you're afraid of it. One of the things that's going to happen is if you go to developer and you say, okay, well...
software developer.
Yeah. That's a good one. I actually like that. But anyways, in software development, if you're not willing to take risks and really push things, you're not going to create something really awesome. And if program management starts coming down on these teams and saying, you have to ship hard on this date, and it has to be perfect, and it has to be playable, they're going to spend the last 3 months polishing something that isn't all there.
It's like polishing a turd.
And what you're going to end up doing is buying the game, and essentially you're just going to be buying the engine, and then all the stuff that should have came with the game is just going to be an extra add-on as they complete it.
Which is already their current model.
Let's be honest, it is, right?
They're calling it fundamentally a fundamental shift, which isn't true. Dang, you type hard. All right. So, I hate to imagine what they just heard.
So they're charging us $80 for this digital deluxe pre-order thing.
Really, it's an early access.
It's an early access, and then by the time, this is.
All right. So, point number 2, test their games more thoroughly, and they're trying to tie that into the whole. We could be testing through the entire development phase as long as you guys don't.
Is the next
things.
sentence by getting people to pre-order it and play our alpha and report all our bugs?
I know, right? He says we're changing the way we test our products. He's rattling off the areas EA will be focusing more deeply. Does it work? Zeros and ones. There's a fundamental test. Does it do what it's supposed to do? QA question mark. Yeah, I think we're all asking QA question mark when it comes to EA. Is it fun? Is it fun when it's doing what it's supposed to do? I like that. Is it fun when it works? Scalability. Does it do what it's supposed to do at scale? What does that even mean? Okay, so we tested it in this small little limited environment, and now we grow it like server testing. And usability, and usability. Can a user get it to do what it's supposed to do, and/or have fun with it and their friends at scale? See, that sounds like project manager speak.
Yeah.
They're not making any sense. All right, it's completely different to testing QA construct in the company, which includes betas that are much, much earlier in the process, like Battlefield Hardline. That game comes out in October, but EA launched the beta. So yeah, we're the beta testers.
We are
free labor.
Yep.
And so I'm sure they're getting crash reports and stuff from us, but whatever. Secretly being sent.
But the flip side is, okay, I'm going to qualify this. As long as they're giving the beta away for free for people to just basically go try, like Hardline.
Mm-hmm.
Hardline, you get into it, it's free, you don't have any obligation, you don't have to buy it, you can just go play it.
Right.
Then I think that's a fair trade. I think that's because you're basically getting a free game to play with in exchange for helping them find bugs for the final game.
Right.
That's fine. But when you have to pre-order something to play it early, and you're giving them money to play something early in an unfinished state, that pisses me off because you're basically paying them the full amount for what you expect to be a fairly polished product.
I don't mind playing a game right now 4 months before it's out for free.
For free. And that's exactly how they should continue to do it.
Right.
I'd rather them do that than go to the model of we're going to make a really solid engine and we're going to release that and then we're going to nickel and dime the shit out of them for months and months and months as the other content becomes tested and comes online.
You know what I think is actually kind of cool is the fact that there was very little time from when they announced Hardline to where the beta came out. And I'm not talking about at the E3 press release. It was like, you can do it now. It was like 2 weeks before we heard a rumor. And then 2 weeks later, we're playing the beta. So there wasn't this whole, hey, buy Battlefield, buy, Medal of Honor and get Battlefield 4 beta access. Remember that crap?
Yeah, yep.
Jeez, it was like we're giving you the right to play this piece of crap early. Okay, so the next point is be more willing to delay games. So yet they don't want any deviation from the conceptual art all the way through to the final product.
Yeah.
But they want them. Who needs to be more willing? I'm willing to put money on the fact that the developer was willing. DICE was willing to delay Battlefield 4, but EA was unwilling to be beaten by Ghosts to market.
But here's the argument that I'm going to make on that is I believe that it's better to hold a product and release it in a good state. Because here's what's going to happen. If you have a competing product and it comes out first, everybody jumps on it, sure, they establish themselves, and they go in it. So you may actually not sell as many initially. But if you ship a crap product and people play it immediately, what happens when your competition comes out with something that's better and more stable?
Cameron Dennis Rosenfeld says, am I the only one that realizes Hardline is a ripoff of Payday? Yeah, you must have come in late. Jerry and I already said Hardline feels like Counter-Strike mixed with Payday.
Yeah, it's literally Counter-Strike mixed with Payday. It's exactly, that's what it is. You buy weapons and upgrades with money, you use them to complete the objective of it is. It totally is.
But I like it. It's fun. It really is fun. I'm not yet convinced it's $60 fun.
They even called it Heist. The game mode is called Heist.
Which is exactly what Payday called it.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's Payday the Heist, and they named it
Heist.
Battlefield
Hardline
Heist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the play mode, but still. Yeah.
Now, granted, I mean, I'll play devil's advocate to myself there and say heist isn't a word that you should be able to copyright. It's right. I don't want to say that they can't use it because that pisses me off, like the Candy Crush Saga game saying that, we own the word Saga. You can't make anything Saga.
I like this. Be more willing to delay games. Yes, you saw that with Titanfall on Xbox 360. Titanfall Xbox 360 was in great shape. There were a couple things that weren't quite right. So they're talking about how they delayed the 360. Yep. They didn't have a choice. That was a hard disk. Mm-hmm. They had to keep shipment of the disc from going out. They're not willing to stop a digital download because they can have the money now at no production cost.
Yeah.
So if they send out a whole bunch of discs that don't work, console gamers and I'm telling you right now, I'm not talking about necessarily the console gamer.
Yep.
Like the parents who are spending money on their kids to play a game and the kid can't play. You're dealing with pissed off parents as well as the players that can't play.
Yeah.
They know that is a more dangerous area to be dabbling in with bugs than it is for PC
but
gaming.
Also realize that having to release a digital patch, though it's not as expensive as having to recall that, it is still very, very costly.
Yeah.
If you have a user base of millions of users and you have to basically put up the money for the bandwidth to distribute a patch that's several gigabytes, which we've seen on almost every game that comes out, it is very costly. So that's not their objective. But you're right. The pressures of shipping early make them look past a lot of issues.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, so tell you, the gamer, about games sooner. Well, I don't know. They talked about Battlefield 4 a year in advance.
Yeah, I don't really get that one because it seems like they talk about the stuff so early that it's like I almost forget about it and rediscover it again.
It does. I'm not quite sure I understand that one. And to be fair, guys, they recognize this isn't just a Battlefield franchise issue they've had. I mean, look what they did to SimCity. God, I've been playing SimCity since I was a kid. I love SimCity. I never even bought the new SimCity because of such bad negative publicity.
And I did buy it, and I played it. And
was it as bad as they said?
It is, absolutely.
Did it ever get better?
No, it did. It did. But here's the problem is, just like in typical, EA fashion, they oversold it, overwhelmed the servers, And then they used a new type of DRM where basically you had to physically authenticate with the server to play, so you couldn't play offline. And they overloaded the authentication servers. Yeah, this is for PC.
Wow.
So every time you logged into the game, it basically wouldn't connect to the server, wouldn't authenticate, and if you were in the middle of a game, it would try to authenticate every couple of minutes. And if it failed, it would just kick you out of your game. People were livid about that. So they did eventually fix it to where I think now it only needs to authenticate with the server every so often. You can play it standalone and stuff like that, but it was too little too late. The damage was already done with the public. It was such bad damage that I think it was Origin actually gave you a free game. A free $40 game at no charge if you had bought SimCity.
Yeah.
Just for the inconvenience.
I like how Joel Deckel said, flip the camera like at the exact moment I had clicked it, which was actually a minute before he typed it. But he's like, we're like on the same wavelength, bro. We're on the same.
That's so funny.
So yeah, anyway, they're just talking about, that was their last point, though, by the way, is like, basically, let's see, they want to tell us about the game sooner so they can get feedback sooner. Okay, if all you're doing is telling me about it and I'm listening to your publicity and your marketing mumbo jumbo, how am I going to give you honest feedback on something I haven't experienced?
Yeah.
And it's the same way I do my reviews. I won't review something where I just take it out of the box and talk about specs. I want to use it, like we did with the keyboard today, use it, spend some time with it to formulate an opinion. So I would never give EA feedback on an announcement of a game.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I really don't think EA gets it. I really don't. I mean, they're consistently voted the worst company in America.
Oh, worst company, period.
In the world?
Like in America?
Yeah, in America. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's actually like a Consumer Reports type of poll for worst company in America. They won it 2 years in a row, and I think they came in second this last year.
Well, I know that they're almost impossible to contact. When my Origin account got stolen by the Russian hacker Cat Pro Killer, it was a nightmare to get it back.
It's all outsourced. When I had to get my password reset, I got some guy in India. Now, there's nothing against that. I mean, companies do that. Outsourcing is normal.
No, most tech companies do hire a lot of people outsourced to India because India is cheaper labor and they're highly educated software developers. Hell, the Technical Institute of Bengali is like one of the top 3, I think, technical programming schools in the world.
You guys have an outsourced department. Yep. We have an outsourced department in our software development. It's just the way things are, and I don't have a problem with that. It's just that all the things that matter to us as gamers, a game that works at the time that you buy it, and to get support when you need it, and get patches at the right time, I don't think EA gets it. Because EA does nothing but respond. Mm-hmm. They never proactively do anything.
You know what I wish EA would actually do? I think the better thing would be is go ahead, keep your model where you're doing everything the same way that you're doing now. But instead of having people just go out and like test your game for you, give them a better incentive. Literally say that, okay, if you sign up and you're accepted into this beta to test this game, we'll give you a free copy at the end of it.
Right.
Or we'll give you a discounted copy at like 50% or something like that. So there's an incentive involved. And also put some emphasis on those people.
Chat.
Wow. Put some emphasis on those people to give good feedback. A lot of these people play the beta and they bitch about it in forums, they bitch about it on Twitter, they bitch about it everywhere where EA isn't looking.
Right.
You know, it's like, give them better tools. Like, I would like it. Honestly, I would like it if I opened Battlefield, and every single time it crashed, it popped up with a box on the screen that says, what were you doing when this happened? How did it affect you? How did you feel on a rating of 1 to 10? So if I lost a game and I was number 1 and I lost ranking 4, I could really just vent on the damn thing.
But I think the reality is, many EA games do not have a crash log.
I think they do. They just don't have a good way of getting it to them.
Well, I mean, legally they have to get your permission to send the log.
That's true.
And you're never prompted to send it.
Yeah.
Like
that's
you're saying,
really strange.
When I'm overclocking and I get an unstable overclock and Windows crash, even though Windows wasn't the fault, they want to send a crash log.
Yep.
So it's all about, like people are saying in chat, EA does nothing but grab at our money. All development companies do. I mean, they're in business. All companies are in business. That's why they're a company and not a nonprofit. But we as gamers just want things to work, and I don't feel like the article here, at least the way that Kotaku wrote it, sounds like EA really gets it to this point.
Hey, Swashin's in here. Sup, Swashin?
Do I know Swashin?
He's the one
the Twitter.
Yeah, the Pimp My Rig.
Yeah.
I love that show.
All right, moving on. I want to talk about some creepy tech.
Let's talk about creepy tech.
So, have you ever had an ex-girlfriend that you thought was very attractive?
Can I tell you something?
You never had an ex-girlfriend before. You never had a girlfriend.
No.
Your wife is a mail order bride.
No. I've only ever had one girlfriend. And I'm married to her still to this day.
Okay, well then I guess this one may not work for you very well.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's not to say that I didn't try.
I think that's very admirable.
But I was still trying. I mean, before that, but I met my wife. I fell in love with her, and yeah, that's how it worked. And I still lovers her. I lovers you, honey, if you're watching this, but I hope you're not because these people are mean.
So that's why you said
internet people.
All right, you can tell me really. Tell me about the others. Tell me about that. Rub
Do the
and tug.
Asian ones count?
The rub and tug.
Oh,
that masseuse?
Yeah,
All right. So anyway, if you've ever had an ex-girlfriend that broke up with you, or you're looking for a new girlfriend, but you want someone that looks just like the other girl because they were like your physical type, well, Match.com's got you covered. And I almost feel like we're about to do a piece or an ad for Match.com, but this is creepy tech of the week, man.
I think, we're going to send some business their way with this one.
Okay, so Match.com has a service here. Whoa, that's actually, it's like offside. No, that's fine. We'll go down the article here.
All right, there you go.
All right, so Match.com has teamed up with a company here in Los Angeles, 3-day rule that uses facial recognition technology to find dates for users. So what you do for a premium service, of course they're gonna charge extra.
Oh, of course it's premium, yeah.
For a premium service,
for something that Facebook just does to you for free to sell your information,
or the Kindle Fire Phone's gonna be doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
You send them a picture of your ex, and they will scan it through their database, kind of like CSI does on TV. You see the pictures just.
Well, it's that whole thing like space between the eyes, nose, the formula.
And they will find the perfect match for you who also looks exactly like your ex.
Yes, as close to as possible.
I can't imagine that being creepy. So when you start having the discussion with them, when you're at that first date and it's like, oh, so what are you into and this and that, it's almost like at some point it's going to have to come up or see pictures or something that this person's going to realize they look just like...
I want to see their ad. Well, that's one thing, but I want to see their ad go out and be like, hey, did you marry your spouse because you thought they were the sexiest thing ever, but then they turned out to be a total dick? We'll find somebody else that looks just like him that might be different.
And might not be a dick.
Yeah. And then from the other side, like you were saying... How bad is that? Okay, so let's go through a little scenario. Okay, we're gonna do a little role playing here.
Should I get the wig?
Yeah, actually, I'll do a little role playing with you. Okay, you can be the woman since you got the nicer titties. But anyways, so I'm on there. I'm like, oh my god, you picked me on Match.com and found me, and we fell in love. We're married, and we have a kid. I want to hear the story about why you found me.
You look just like my ex.
Fuck! I mean, that's literally like, how else do you respond to that? It's like, what was the first thing that attracted you to me? You look like my spouse. I mean, all you're going to think about the whole time, you're railing and everything, is I am just a stand-in.
Better being matched with Miley Cyrus? Well, you could have, based on visual acuity, you could have also gotten matched with Justin Bieber. Because they look exactly the same.
They are.
No, really, this kind of takes online dating to, like... the newest, shallowest level.
It's kind of it's a scary use of technology because you're basically the only reason you would find somebody that looked like your ex. I mean, it's superficial.
It was nothing but superficial physical
It's just
attraction.
completely superficial, yeah. And then how many opportunities you're going to miss out on? Because the whole point is you want to meet new people, and you may discover when you meet somebody that somebody that you didn't think was incredibly attractive had a personality that made them amazing.
There's only one way your wife would have married you, man, and that's if your personality was just stellar.
And it is.
Because
most days when I'm not annoying.
If it was based off that noggin, I'm just saying. That's my attractive face.
Like this. This is how I got my wife. I was like...
That's going to be a meme, sure. That's my Popeye.
Like, hey, honey, you want to go on a date?
All right, so I'm sure we'll get a meme of that. But yeah, I just thought this was weird. It's just one step away from them going, we'll put a wig and makeup on your date to make him look like your ex.
No, with all
Why
the
was
stuff...
he Southern? Why was that Southern? I don't know.
Everything's Southern.
It's like they're on their first date. The first time they spend the night, they wake up with you you're brushing their hair, and they look just like the picture on the nightstand.
Honestly, I think the next level after this is going to be like DNA.
Kelly, shh. Kelly. My name is Samantha. No, tonight you're Kelly.
You're Kelly tonight. And if not, I'll find somebody who looks just like you named Kelly.
Oh my goodness.
It's funny. But the thing is, it's like, where's Match.com going to go? What's the next technological breakthrough? They've got DNA tests now where they can take a look at your DNA markers by like swabbing the inside of your cheek. What, are they going to have a Match.com premium service? It's like, we're going to find somebody who's the closest genetic match to you without actually being family.
Digital Storm is in here and says, so you're saying she wasn't attracted to my PC? Why is the stream reloading?
No, Digital Storm, she was totally attracted to your PC.
We're not dropping any frames. Oh, okay, there we go.
Nah, it'll catch up.
YouTube. Digital Storm loves you, man. They're everywhere.
I know. Hey, Digital Storm, don't worry. Actually, we're going to be doing another giveaway on Barnacules Nerdgasm with Digital Storm here pretty quick. I'm just getting caught up on some things first.
Giveaway.
Another giveaway. My channel's just giveaways. People won't come to my channel unless I give them stuff.
Oh, you have an entire audience of giveaways.
Yeah, they're all, they need stuff. If I don't give them stuff, then they all just go away.
Yeah, it says buffering. Guys, that buffering is YouTube. I haven't dropped a single frame. I've uploaded 75,600 frames and I haven't dropped a single one.
Yeah, you may not have realized it, but you've seen 75,000 of us.
I'm only using a 1 megabit upload. So
the stream looks so good for that, too. Damn. 3dmatch.com. Yeah, there you go.
Print your girlfriend. Print your spouse.
Actually, you know what? That would be a practical use for that Amazon phone. Like to be able to put it around your head and do a 3D model of your head.
Yeah.
Because if you have the 4 cameras, in theory, you could do a 3D model of something.
That would be creepy for you to print your head.
No, I think I just figured out the one cool thing the Amazon phone might be good for is it might actually be a fairly decent 3D scanner.
Do you think it could scan like that, though?
Absolutely.
Well, because the whole thing is enough perspective.
Because the whole point, like when I've done 3D scans before, the way that you conventionally do a 3D scan is you shine a laser at it,
right,
and then you figure out how distorted the laser gets as it moves over a surface to figure out how the distance.
So it's very similar to like geographical lines on mountains.
Exactly. Well, another thing is 123dcatch.com actually is a service that does something where you take hundreds of pictures around something, and it can make a 3D model from it. But the 3D model is never perfectly accurate because it has to make approximations. Mm-hmm. If you have 4 cameras looking at something, you know the distance between those cameras is always exactly the same, which means if, in theory, if you took groups of 4 pictures, you'd be able to create a photo, like an absolutely perfect 3D model.
All right, so those are all the topics we had. That was the first, 53 minutes down. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start doing viewer topics. Now, Ali Sadko wants me to talk LA. I'm assuming he's talking about Anaheim, maybe. I don't know. So, if you guys aren't aware, if there's 542 people in here, I'm quite certain some of you guys are from the Los Angeles or Southern California area.
I'd be surprised if they weren't.
Jerry and I, on Saturday, we are going to be at the MLG Anaheim event. What's funny is neither one of us really truly are into MLG that much, but we're into gaming, we're into technology. There's going to be StarCraft there, so there's going to be PCs. But we want to take an opportunity to at least kind of meet you guys. I mean, it's unprecedented. Who knows when you're going to be back down here? Who knows when I'm going to be up there? It's the first time, and who knows how long that we're in the same place, especially with the kid on the way and stuff. We wanted to at least take an opportunity to meet some of you guys. So we're going to be meeting Brigham Kendall.
That's Smit and Fatty.
Smit and Fatty. He's going to be actually casting some of the MLG event down there.
Awesome.
That's going to be pretty cool. Good shout out for him there. There's a few other people that's going to be there that have said, we're wondering if anyone's...
I know, right? We're perfect. I don't care what you say.
We're matched.
We just saw that tweet. I'm going to retweet that.
Oh my god, the Linux nerd.
But yeah, if you guys are going to MLG, tweet us. Let us know. I'm curious to see how many people are actually going to be at the event that watch our content. Because we're going to be walking around and stuff. If you see us, come up and talk to us. We're approachable.
Yeah. And I was wondering, too, depending on what time we leave the event, we may head on over to Micro Center for a little bit. Because Micro Center's not that far from there.
Yeah, so if you don't have MLG tickets or you can't go, then yeah, maybe...
Meet and greet at Micro Center.
Yeah, Micro Center, man, show up!
Well, the Micro Centers have been playing my videos.
Did you know that? You did tell me about that.
The and people down there have told me, especially the Orange County Micro Center, people have said that when some people are asking, well, is this good or is that good? If it's something I've done a review on, they'll recommend my channel to them to like, hey, go check out. Or they'll bring them my video I've done a review on that product on right there in the company or the computer that's like on display. And they'll watch the review right there in the store. That's weird.
Hey, did you know that Best Buy plays my videos in their tech department?
Of what?
Well, I go in there and actually put my videos up on the screen all the time.
I did that at CES. I did that at CES in the LG booth, and they were showing all their panel displays. I went in all the computers, and I was setting the home screen or the home for their browsers all to Jayztwocents YouTube channel. So it's funny is I'd watch these people walk up to the computer, and they'd click off of it, and then they'd click the browser, and it'd come back, and they'd click off of it.
My absolute favorite one was I went to the Apple store in Bell Square. And up in Washington, near where I live.
We have an Apple store.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody does. But anyways, I went to the Apple store, and I started going to each computer and typing in barnerd.com, so I'd go to my page, and then I'd open up my room tour. Mm-hmm. And one of the associates came over and said, hey, can I help you with something? Because he saw that I was opening all the computers. I was like, oh, my God, I'm caught. So I played the video for him. And he's like, man, you got a sick setup. He's like, no, that's cool. We can leave it up on the computer. What he didn't realize is it wasn't a Mac. It was my PC with all the screens, and he just wasn't putting 2 to 2 together. So I basically put up an advertisement for PC on the Mac, and they were cool with it and thought it was awesome.
And he had no idea you were a Microsoft developer.
No. That was a fun one. That was definitely a fun one.
Digital Storm, do you sell pre-built custom gaming PCs? I don't think they've ever been to Digital Storm, apparently.
Yeah, Digital Storm kind of just does that mostly.
And not only that, they have a lot of specific cases built for them that look really awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of aluminum cases that are specific to them. You can't get them anywhere else. They look really cool. It's the way I like to put it is Digital Storm is like Alienware without the ripoff.
Hey, should we go through some of the Twitter questions?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so let's see. So Celtic Fox says, "How's Cali so far, Jerry?" Well, I can tell you right now, my trip down here was a complete pain in the ass, which you'll hear about in my vlog. I will.
He's starting to
tonight.
smell a little ripe.
I smelled ripe when I showed up. Let's just say you'll see it in the
vlog.
vlog.
No, I mean like right now. You're smelling.
What are you talking about? I smell wonderful. I smell like daisies. I've been farting a lot today.
I noticed.
The food down here seems to make you fart.
There's a lot of bass in your fart. I've noticed.
There is. It's a bassy fart. It's those big baritone ass cheeks. Just yeah. Sounds like a fucking bullhorn. Anyways, I'm liking it. When I showed up, the weather was great. The temperature was down like 83 degrees or whatever when I first showed up. Today it's like a scorching mid 90s outside.
Yeah.
But so that's a little higher than I like. But Jay's got air conditioning in his house, which I didn't expect. I honestly thought.
What's funny is we got up this morning. We got our coffee. You're like, oh, it's not that hot outside. I'm like, dude, it's only 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we come back into the house. We've been in here editing, making videos.
Yep.
We got the computers going. They're rendering. It's getting warm in here. At least upper 70s in this room.
Yeah.
You walk out of the room. You're like, oh, it's kind of cool. We walk outside and you were like, whoa!
The heat wave when he opened the front door.
Crap.
Yeah.
And it's not even that hot. It was like 95.
Yeah, Jay's like, no, it still gets like, what is that, like 15 degrees hotter than this
We'll get up to about 115 in the hottest.
Dude, I couldn't handle that. Honestly,
because we're still far enough away from the ocean.
So I'm liking California. I don't think I could live here with this heat, though.
You've said that. Your dad lives down here, so you know what the weather's like. You've experienced it before. It's basically just like living in Satan's balls.
Yeah,
it's really the only.
It's cold at night, hot during the day.
It's that temp
and it smells like balls. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, there's no smell. I like.
It's because all the smell is burned off in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
it can't live.
Well, it's crazy. I remember the plane flying over here. It was like the plane would take off and it was just desert for like an hour. Desert, like nothing. Like some turf farms and everything, and then boom, you're in a city.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're like, oh hey, there's buildings. Okay, we're coming down.
California is just one giant. I didn't realize California was just one giant
like one
desert.
Big gray urban mass.
It is just a huge desert.
When you come over the hills, because those hills, that's the high desert you came down.
Yep.
That's the high. So it's not. It's actually cool. It snows up there in the winter.
Yep.
So once you get over those hills and it's the low desert, you got to admit there's mountains and then just a sprawling urban jungle as far as you can see in every direction.
Yeah, it's also weird because there's like these huge flat areas and then you just see like this one little mountain tip poking out.
Yeah.
And that's like flat and then one little mountain tip poking out.
Yep.
And you don't see anybody, you don't see any vehicles. Nothing. Granted, we're flying at 29,000 feet or whatever, but usually you can look down and you can see traffic on the freeways and stuff. It's just like little specks moving. There's like nothing. For like hundreds of miles, there's nothing. It's just really hard because you as a person, you always stay on roads.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, it's always populated. Even areas where it doesn't seem populated, it's still populated. When you're flying in the airplane, you realize just how much of the United States isn't populated at all.
Well, that's why, the population from the Mississippi east of that is greater than the west of the Mississippi, the entire rest of the nation.
That's insane how much space is still left.
Yeah.
Like everybody talks about overpopulation and everything. I get that because of resources.
Yeah.
But land isn't the problem.
No, it's the climate. The climate keeps people from being able to do anything.
And expanding the infrastructure and stuff. Like I saw a wind farm. We flew over this wind farm that blew my mind.
Yeah.
There had to be like hundreds and hundreds of these giant wind towers.
Yeah, you probably flew over the Palm Springs area.
Yeah, and then there was a solar farm next to it that had these huge fields of solar panels.
That's out just outside State Line. It's actually brand new. They just built that. And what happens is and this is tech related. We'll talk about this.
Yep.
Renewable energy. My company does energy software.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
My company writes software for energy use. And so what that is they have these 3 towers. They're just 3 towers sticking straight up. They go up about 150, maybe 200 feet in the air. And on the top they have black panels. It's a square. There's black panels, and around it there's just each. And we're talking like miles from one tower to the next.
Yep.
And around them is just tens of thousands of mirrors.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The ones where the mirrors track the sun and then reflect the light up on the tower to boil the water.
Right. It's actually not water. It's actually a type of oil.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, those are awesome. I'd love to see one of those. What I saw was literally just square fields of flat solar panels tilted at a slight angle.
Those are actually becoming obsolete now for these other, because they can get more efficiency on those heating towers.
Oh, hugely, because the thing is, they don't need solar panels are expensive and they don't generate that heat. Is what you want. You want heat, right?
It's much cheaper to replace a mirror and a piece of metal than it is to replace a panel.
Yep, and even if the mirror gets shattered, it's like you didn't lose the expensive bit. The expensive bit is the hydraulics to move the mirror around, right? And that's not going to break more than likely. That's like way more durable. Let's see if we got any other questions.
It's too bad you didn't get to fly more, because the moment you come over the hill, you're pretty much ready to land.
Yep. So they did build one of those over there. The one you're talking about, the big sphere.
Just outside state line?
Yeah, I would love to see one of those.
There's 3 of them.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so if you had flown like into LAX, you would have noticed as far as you can see in every direction, there's like no open space. It's just gray concrete jungle.
Oh, hey, I got a really funny question actually here from the Linux nerd.
Again.
And he says, what do you think about Linux taking over Windows? And the answer to that is...
What planet is he on? I guess.
Okay, that sounded arrogant. But anyways, come on, guys.
Define taking over.
Linux, I mean, they're 2 completely different things. Linux is not a desktop operating system. It's not going to be a desktop operating system. And people that use it as a desktop operating system don't need a conventional desktop operating system.
True.
But Linux is cool. Linux is great for servers. It's cheap. Back-end infrastructure, the support, you can change what you need. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying as a desktop operating system, Linux, it'll be a long time and a lot of mistakes before it takes the lead.
Ali Abdallah, who's also known as one of the grammar Nazis who follows me, by the way, is asking how long the stream's going to go. Well, Tech Talk's going to go for another half hour or so, and then we're going to do an after party where we're going to probably hop on some gaming again.
Yeah, definitely.
We did that last night. It was fun. I think we need to let it cool down a little bit before we do that.
Absolutely. We should go swimming after this, dude, and then come back and do it.
We'll have to find out if the pool's
available. That's true.
Yeah.
God,
we got to ask the little old lady.
Can we just go outside and you can just hose me down and we'll do a vlog?
Just streak.
Yeah.
Everyone else does.
You guys want to see that? Do you want to see Barnavlog 25? Jay hoses me down.
That sounds like it could be on a different type of tube, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. One of those other somethingtube.coms. Yeah.
When is Barnavlog going up? You edited it.
It's edited, it's rendered, and uploaded. All I have to do is just annotate it and set it live.
I want to watch it because I haven't seen it. He edited it right next to me, and I've only seen little pieces of it.
Yeah, on a laptop. This is my first video that I actually put all the video on here, edited in Premiere CC, and uploaded it to YouTube, all from my laptop.
And it didn't take long to edit because you used proper render settings.
I did.
So you weren't using up resources.
Actually, I would like to give a shout out to John Prosser. It's at John_Prosser. He is one of the editors that works with Chris Perillo and does a lot of his videos and his content. The guy is a genius and has some really, really cool content on YouTube. You should check him out. He's a great guy. He showed me all the settings to use in Premiere to cut my file size in half, get my uploads up quicker, and not take like 45 years to render each video.
Yeah. Yep.
Knowledge is power, and that guy seriously gave me something really, really awesome.
The conversation about Linux is still going on. Guys, here's the bottom line.
Did we start a Linux war again?
It's just like the console thing. I remember we were sitting in my living room last night, and I pointed out some irony on the console video, people giving me shit like, Jay, why do you hate consoles so much? Yep. Guys, that's my Xbox. That's my Xbox we use. And what is sitting on underneath the entertainment center over there, plugged in? Xbox and a Wii. Yeah. Guys, it's fun to play up that arrogant asshole. Yeah. Because I play it so well. But no.
No, you're right.
I play it very well. Mm-hmm. But Linux, guys, it's still PC. So I'm okay with it. I just don't use it. Yeah. Right? It's still PC. Who cares? It strengthens hardware because more users. Fine.
And everybody keeps talking about Linux. Oh, but it's open source and the open source market, and it's not as vulnerable to issues and everything. And each one of those things, there's a reason for that. Open source everything's open source. OS X can be open. You can develop open source software for it. There's open source software for Windows. But the Core OS is an open source. But I don't trust an open source Core OS. Yeah. Because an open source Core OS means that people can white box test it and find defects. They don't have to just stumble across them or fuzz and look for them, which is basically just brute forcing the OS to get it to fall over. Yeah. When you can look at the source code, you can find every single defect. And you might argue, oh, but that means it's going to be more stable because they find the defects and they fix them. Well, they do, but they're constantly creating new software and updating it constantly, which means as they patch the old holes, there's always going to be new holes. Right. So, I mean, that's just me personally. But Linux, a lot of people like it. We know some guys personally that even follow us that run it as almost their primary operating system. And I say almost because even though they'd like to think it's their primary operating system, they spend more time in Windows, like realistically. Yeah. But at the same time, it's just that's how I view it personally. And if you guys love Linux and you think it's great and it's the best operating system, feel free to tweet me and tell me why you think it's better than Windows.
Celtic Fox is asking me, Jay, what happened to my WordPress site? Really, guys, it came down to time. I mean, my site gets about 25,000 hits a month right now, without me really promoting it, which is good. But I've reached out to quite a few tech writers who've all showed interest in writing some articles for me. Just one article, one or two articles a month, but get a few of those guys so I can populate the site. Everyone fell through. Everyone pretty much flaked out on me. So I don't have the time to keep writing the articles. So if I had to have a priority, the priority right now truly is the YouTube and the videos and stuff.
Why do you think I didn't create a site?
I tried.
I watched everybody else that's been creating sites and maintaining, and like Linus's site's pretty cool. I like the one that Slick created for that manages for Linus.
Right.
And that's a great site to form, but God, the amount of effort that goes into maintaining that and pushing it, you have to have a very large active community using your website to make it worthwhile to do that.
Yeah, and the thing for me is I didn't want my site to be as much just forum community.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a place to put up quick written reviews, like the Kotaku article we read. It was only a couple paragraphs. But you guys would be surprised how much time it takes to write an accurate couple of paragraphs. And I just didn't have the time for it anymore. And unfortunately, there were people who offered to help, but like I said, that all fell through. So it's going to come back eventually. I mean, it's paid for the next couple of years. It's not going anywhere. It's just, I need more help. Remember, guys, I'm one person. Jerry's one person. Our channels are all ran by one person in our spare time, which is nice. So it was unfortunately the lowest priority I had right now.
Yeah. Oh, Hussein Duncan said something pretty interesting. He said he loves Linux because it's free. I mean, that's the brutally honest truth. Now, that's a side that I can agree with.
And if it doesn't hold him back from getting anything he needs done, it fills his needs and the OS capability and the programs he has access to, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
But that's the thing is, if it's free, if money's no object, then it's a fantastic OS because it allows you to do something you couldn't do at all. What is that?
Hey there, girlie, date me right now.
Date me right now. That was a great meme. I like that one. Hey there, girlie.
There's Sam Lane gets the shout out on that one.
Yep. So just to reply to that, free, yes, that is a good reason to run Linux. Another good reason to run Linux is if you know Linux incredibly well and you've defeated that learning curve and you've grown with Linux your whole life and you've grown up with it, then it's a good choice because you can navigate around. But the whole thing with the learning curve on Linux is everybody I've ever talked to that basically uses Linux after using Windows or OS 10 immediately comes back and says, holy shit, Linux is hard to use. Even like the best distros with the desktops, it's like, you can get in, you can install an app, and you can run it. But when you get down to like the more hardcore aspects of the operating system, people just get lost in it. It's not easy enough. It's a power user operating system. So, and just to give you guys some perspective, I own MacBook Pro. I don't like OS 10, but I do use OS 10 for certain things. I do have Linux running on a physical hardware on a netbook, and I also have Linux, Red Hat, and Debian running as virtual machines because I do like to play around with Apache sometimes and play around with some of that technology. So I am familiar. I'm not speaking from one-sided here. Yes, I do work for Microsoft. That does make me biased, but I'm saying before I even worked for Microsoft, I ran all these operating systems. I use Windows more than anything because Windows is the most mainstream of all the operating systems in a desktop setting.
Yeah. Butt Munch 109. This is more a question for you. What do y'all think is the best 3D printer for a poor person? I don't 3D print, so I have no input.
Here's the thing is, the cheapest printer I've used, $799, which is the Robo 3D, and it's a decent printer. You have to put some tender love and care into it to actually get it to its potential. So all said and done
under
about
$1,000.
All said and done about $1,000. But there's a lot of printers that are coming out that are under $1,000, and the people that have bought those printers that I've talked to said that they have been an endless pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got the time, you're technically skilled, and you're very patient, you can actually order up like some of the kits, like a Delta printer kit.
Build your own printer.
And build your own 3D printer. And if you have the time and the skill, you can calibrate it, and it'll print every bit as good as a $3,000 printer.
Now, here's what's funny about this, though, is I've seen the Ultimaker, I've seen the Robo printer, or the Robo 3D at CES 2 years ago when they first were debuting. They were $8,000, $10,000.
Yeah,
not the Robo 3D, but like
I know what you're talking about.
They were like upward of $10,000. They've fallen like 70% of price in the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Which is good for the consumer.
Yeah, because filament extrusion printers have been around
really
for a very
pisses off
long
the government.
time. Yeah, definitely. But it's that whole supply and demand thing. Because so many companies are building 3D printers, the costs are coming down dramatically. Yeah. There's some Kickstarter and some crowdfunded projects for building cheap printers for like $100, $200. But I look at those and I'm very, very skeptical because if you look at the build quality on what they're trying to do, the corners that they're cutting aren't corners you should cut for something that you're trying to print something with any kind of accuracy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't be good printers, but I'm just saying I'm very skeptical on a lot of these things. So I do plan to try some of these printers. When they become more mainstream, these projects are out and they're in a retail setting, I would like to try some of these $100 and $200 printers and see how they stack up. And if they stack up great, I'll let you guys know. And if they're pieces of garbage, I'll let you guys know.
Biff Diff is asking why I don't review Corsair anymore. All the Corsair products that I reviewed were early on in my channel, and they were things I was buying because I needed.
Yep.
But I don't buy products to review them anymore. And Corsair is I've been trying for nearly a year to get them to work with me. They were not willing to work with me, so I don't review Corsair stuff simply because I won't buy anything I don't need.
Yep.
I don't need anything Corsair. So the 900D, the keyboard, the headset, that was all stuff I bought out of my own money because I needed stuff. And I've moved on since then to other product lines and things because I like to try out different things all the time. My RAM, I never even did a speed test of my RAM. I just bought it, put it in, and I was like, whatever, I don't want to review it. So I would love to review Corsair stuff because it's a very popular brand people are always asking about. They've showed zero interest in working with me. So that's the official answer is I've tried.
And you never know. That may change in the future. But the thing people got to understand is because you favor one type of product because a company's helping you out and supporting your channel, don't look at that as a bad thing because you need that product. You're looking for it, and you're not going to use it if it's a piece of crap. If they send me a piece of crap, I tell them it's a piece of crap. I mean, they want you to tell them it's a piece of crap.
I just took this CoolerMaster Rapid Eye, $150 keyboard.
Yep.
Awesomely intelligent. You love the trailing effect as you're typing on it.
I did love the trailing effect.
But I just replaced this with the cheaper rose wheel keyboard because I'm like, okay, I have access to it. I did the review on it. Now I want to use it for long term and see how it holds up. That's what I do. I like to change out and roll my product around and just keep trying to use new things. So that's the bottom line. Things that you guys see reviewed on this channel, I will specifically say it's something I purchased and here's why I purchased it. If it's a purchased item, 90% of what you guys see is sent for review.
The other reason why I'm more willing to work with a company that wants to work with me versus just buying the products myself like I did in the beginning is you get a very close relationship with that company. And that's for good, positive, and otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually received stuff before with a company where I called them back and it was like halfway through my unboxing video or my review. I was like, oh my God, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And the company's like, go ahead, send it back, we'll replace it, or we're going to go ahead and go with a different version or update it in the next revision.
Right.
And I've done that for products that I haven't even released a video for. I've actually had that entire thing with the company. And a company that's willing to work with you like that is a very, very trustworthy company in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see. Robert Tarr says you guys need more sponsors. That's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
When you start loading yourself up with too many sponsors, then you start to really start dealing with conflict of interest. So I have 2 sponsors for the channel, and I don't even like to call them sponsors. I call them partners because they're a brand I'm willing to say I use because I do, and I've used them both for years. It's Aqua Tuning as a water cooler. I absolutely freaking love Aqua Tuning.
Yep.
The cool thing about Aqua Tuning is that's not supporting a brand. It's supporting a store.
Yeah.
And supporting a store that sells all brands. So there's no bias there.
Yep.
And CoolerMaster is something I've been using since the freaking 90s.
And I'll be honest, I've actually been using CoolerMaster since I was a kid also.
Yeah. But the thing is, they do not give me 1 ounce of input of what goes into the channel. It is simply an advertising agreement.
Yep.
It's a payment for the logo placement. It's a logo I'm willing to place. It's not like if Rav Power said, "Hey, we'll send you $500, put our logo up on your channel," and I just all of a sudden a Rav Power logo pops up, and you guys, that to me is. That's not doing anyone in the community a favor. It's not doing me a favor because it makes me look like a sellout, which I'm not, and I'm not okay with that. In fact, I'm moving in the future towards a different model where I'm no longer going to have really so much I lost my train of thought. Logos anymore, but more or less inserted spots, which I know some people are going to not like. But you know what? The difference is it gives me an ability to kind of control what I'm showing on the channel a little bit more in depth of, hey, this CoolerMaster Reaper, go check it out, guys. Click the link for more. It's kind of what Linus's model is, but a little bit different. The thing is, it allows me to be able to just temporarily show some stuff, but then move on and not be locked into a 3 months you have to put the logo up sort of thing. It's evolution, and let's face it. As much as I hate the idea of being an advertiser, I can't keep the channel going on my own dollar. It's impossible. YouTube, guys, does not pay.
Well, I can't even do it.
Guys, screw what Social Blade says you make. It is just so incredibly blown out of proportion on what they say you could be making. Like you can make like $5 to $5 million I mean, it's a little exaggerated.
Yeah,
but it
so
says
Social Blade's
it says
way
like
off.
$46 to $400 a day.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't work like that, guys. And not only that, you have to pay the government when you do this crap. They take a shit ton of the money.
Yeah.
And so I can't afford to keep doing this. So I have to have partnerships with companies.
Well, even with me, it's like I don't have any sponsors, and I don't have sponsors on purpose because I may have to drop this YouTube thing at a moment's notice,
right,
at any point.
You want to be locked
in time. I don't want to be locked in. This is my hobby, and I keep telling myself, no matter that, I get approached with some big sponsorships. I've turned, we'll just say I've had a 5-figure offer, for a sponsorship that I turned down, and the reason being is the way I work with companies is a little bit different. I contact them or they contact me. They say, I want you to test something. I go look at it. If it's something that I think I can use in my daily life and something that I don't already have that I'm like dead set on, then I say, yeah, I'd like to test it, or I'll reach out to a company. Mm-hmm. Like if I like the chair, my new chair that I have, the GT Omega. I reached out to GT Omega and I said, that is a badass chair. I would absolutely love to review one of these. Can you guys send me one? They sent me one. I put it together. I did the video. I showed you guys in the video the problems with the instructions and things. But overall, I really loved the chair. And I love that I was able to share it with you and work with them. They wanted me to get into some kind of a sponsorship arrangement too, and I just basically told them no. I want to just do an affiliate thing, where if you go buy a chair and use my link, I get a little bit of the money or whatever, and it helps the channel. But I like doing something like that because then I can just get out if I need to, and plus I can be brutally honest.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that I really really like. And to be honest, even sponsored companies want you to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
They like you to run problems by them first if you encounter them, so they can see if there's a way. But they don't. A good company will never penalize you for having pros and cons.
I say it, and here's the thing: when I have conversations with companies when they're saying, hey, we want to do a review for us. And by the way, I don't consider them sending me a product a sponsored video. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between sponsored and supplied review sample. Yeah, major difference. When the only payment I get may be a $30 battery. Yep. Or a $400 graphics card, that's not sponsorship. That's
and I treat them the same. That's the other thing. It doesn't matter if it's I've received stuff that's like thousands of dollars, and I've received something that's $20, and if it's something I'm really interested in, that's what I want to do.
The conversation basically goes exactly as you mentioned, where it's always, guys, I'm going to be brutally honest. Give me a reviewer's guide. I'll follow your guide. And if I encounter any major issues, I'll come to you guys for clarification. We had to do that on that Keymander, that mouse and keyboard interface, because we couldn't get it to work. That was the second night of shooting that video. The first night we could not get it to work. We spent hours and hours and hours. And I was telling Coconut Monkey, I'm like, you know what? I'm so ready I'm ready to smash this thing in a video and tell everyone, stay away from this product. This is garbage. It doesn't work as advertised. I was mad because I lost an entire night of shooting. And when I have a closet full of stuff, I can't lose a night. And so Monkey was like, well, okay, if that's what you really want to do, maybe you should email him. So I was like, yeah, I cooled off. I never make a decision in the heat of emotion. Yep. So I waited till the next day, and at work I wrote him a nice email. And man, they were responsive. They got me in touch with the engineers, and the engineers were going through checklists. And it turned out I was operating the thing backwards. It was my fault. Mm-hmm. But if I had made a video in the heat of a moment of, this thing doesn't fucking work, I would have lost all credibility. Yep. But I tell these companies, look, I review under the guise that there is no such thing, you guys have heard it, there's no such thing as a perfect product. Every product has its cons. Yep. My cons may be different than your cons, but there are cons. Right. There's no perfect product. And so I've never once had a company come back at me and say, well, we don't think that the thing you gave us a hard time about is valid. Mm-hmm. I did have, and I love CoolerMaster, but they did clarify something on me, and they basically responded to me on that V5 or V650 power supply video. Where I was like, why the hell are they all using these rainbow colors? I was getting so mad about it. Yeah. And I even said it in that video. I was like, why do you guys do this, CoolerMaster? So he wrote me. He's like, here's why we do it, and he gave me a big paragraph. These companies in China, have hundreds of miles of cable. Yeah. They had purchased back in the 80s and 90s, and black cable is more expensive to them because they have an overstock of colored cables. Mm-hmm. So if you want an all-black cable power supply, believe it or not, it raises the price like 20% just to go with all-black cables.
And imagine.
So it's a price point thing.
Copper's expensive, too.
Yeah, and it's a price point thing. Mm-hmm. They will charge more for the black cable. Because I even said, I'm like, look, half the wires in there are black because they're grounds. Why can't you just do the rest? And he was like, look, here's why. So now I understand it a little better. Like, okay, they've got enough cable to wrap around the world a billion times because they bought up all of these spools back in the 90s. So So it made sense. He educated me on that, and I won't rip them too hard on that. But he did point out, too, he's like, you didn't even talk about the warranty, and you're giving me shit about the cables?
Yeah.
He was like, really? So he flipped it, and it was a valid flip. He's like, and the warranty on that is freaking amazing, but CoolerMaster is just noisy as shit. That's not true. Depends on what you get. I have a V1200 sitting right here. Can you hear it?
Nope. Actually, I thought the fans. What did I say the fans were in there? That I thought they were. I thought they were.
The Noctuas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were so quiet.
Well, there's a Corsair fans.
Yep.
But he's talking about the power supply or CoolerMaster is noisy as shit.
Yeah, no, your computers are dead silent.
The fans can be. Those fans in there are CoolerMaster fans, 2200 RPM fans, but they ramp down.
Okay. Well, just from the fan perspective, they're noisy.
When you turn on the computer, it goes, and then it comes back down because the fans are so loud. So what's amazing, too, is how many people will bitch about a product when they're not using it properly. Like me and the Keymander, perfect example.
Oh, I'll be honest. I've had problems, too, where I've contacted the people, and they've been like, oh, hey, you're missing a step, or you're doing something wrong. And it's not always the case, but that's why, like you said, I like to check in with them first.
All right, so I'll answer James, and I'll let you pick one, because James has asked this like 18 times. Jay, when are you cracking open that bottle of Ice Dragon? You asked about it because you saw it in the closet. And what did I say that Ice Dragon is?
You said it was cooling fluid.
Yeah, and go ahead and tell James where that cooling fluid is right now. You asked me, you said, what's in here? And I said, oh, it's yellow.
Yeah, you said it was white.
I said it comes white, but it's yellow because...
Well, you mixed it with something.
It's what's in my 900D.
Uh-huh.
This stuff in my 900D, guys, is not actually the Mayhems. This is the Dragon Ice fluid. And I did this when I did the SLI swap. So I've been using this fluid long term to see how it holds up before I do the review on it.
It looks good. I like the look of that fluid.
The bottom line is I've had this stuff for like 5 months.
Has it changed? Has the color changed at all being in there?
No, the color doesn't change. But what I've noticed is that the dye, if I let it sit, like I go on a business trip and I come back a week later, the dye it's sitting on the top of the res. Like, it's still yellow, but it gets like an orange film
so
on the
unless
top.
it's circulating it does separate.
It does fall out a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's not really the Dragon Ice's problem. That's just because it's the dye mix. So anyway, James, it's been cracked open. It's being used. It's being R&D'd right now. It's being researched for my review. So there you go.
Let's see here.
He's just been going nuts with that question, so I figured I'd finally get to it.
I'm just having some fun here. Later.
Oh. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I just wanted to have fun too, Jay.
I didn't see it. Oh, you saw the ones that I was kind of banning as the show went on?
Yeah. No, I'll go through and ban them too.
Quiet bans.
Yep.
We banned a few people in the stream already tonight.
Obnoxious people just trying to get attention.
Turn the camera, let us see your PC. How many of you guys have never seen my PC? Maybe they follow.
I'm surprised they have. Yeah, there might be some of my followers. Show them.
Let's see here.
It's actually pretty cool.
So this is my 900D.
D.
This is my D.
It's your day.
Hold that for a second so I can open the side. There, it'll look better that way.
It's so pretty, Jay. It's so pretty. Just look up in there.
That's my 900D, two 780s, hacked and overclocked. There's a 480.
And you said what is that? What is that? Half-inch hose or?
It's half-inch inner diameter, 3/8 outer.
It's like a garden hose. Like I cannot believe how thick those hoses are. They don't look like it on camera, but when you see them in person, I was like,
what is happening?
My God.
Sorry if you guys are getting seasick at the moment. The cable's caught up on something.
There we go. Now you got a little freedom.
All right, so. You see my dinner plate. My potatoes.
It was good. It was good potatoes.
German potato salad. All right, so we got a 480 rad right there. You can see right there, it's an Alpha Cool 480. I got dual pumps down there. You probably can't see them too good, but I got two D5 pumps. Oh, there they are. See the pumps?
Yeah.
There's the pumps right there. The V1200 power supply, like I said. Look how slow that fan is turning. It's like not even going fast.
That's a quiet system. It really
I've got a little layer of dust right there.
I like how dust-free you keep everything, though. My house,
dust on there. Look at that. There's dust
not even close to mine, though.
Look at the power supply. Do you see that dust?
That's
dust
nothing. Mine. Did you see when I cracked my case open? There's like a half-inch of bunny fur on everything. It was bad.
So that's my 200 millimeter long bits power reservoir, which is going to be getting changed out. It's still a Z77 platform. I am going to be going to Z97 and 4790K when it comes out next week. I'm going to be picking one up. But it's ASRock Z77 OC formula, Lutro custom sleeved cables, 480 rad up top. You can see their fans are turning kind of slow. But yeah, James, that's your Dragon Ice. It's already mixed. It's been in the system now since I did that SLI swap video. And then we got some intake fans on the front. And then we got Alright, so anyway, in case you guys have never seen the PC, but obviously this PC too is going to be changing here in the near future because
Yeah, some updaters over there.
you saw your taters.
Oh, I'm laughing on Twitter. At Matt Doe commented back and said one of the reasons why he likes Linux better is because he can leave it on for 5 years and it still runs perfect. Can't do that with Windows. And my response is that's because you can't run anything on it. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing, Matthew. Yeah, as far as an operating system, you can just get up and run it. But again, if you're running crappy stuff on it, it still has the capability to leak memory, still has the capability to lose resources, and eventually lead to you'd have to reboot the box.
Yeah.
But provided everything's stable, you're good to go. You can get in the same situation with the Windows Server product, too.
Yeah. It's that orange juice. That's funny. Well, it actually, the Mayhem's pastel, which I used to use, was much more orange. Nobody commented or noticed that when I did my SLI swap, that the coolant turned more pale.
It looks. That's the weird thing is you can't really tell on camera because I think the camera picks up the shimmer.
Yeah,
of
so
the
it looks
container.
more orange.
But in person, it literally looks like paint.
Yeah, it does.
The dye, if you look at it in the container, it looks just like house paint, where it's that completely 100% solid.
It's very opaque.
Yeah, it's about as opaque as you could make a fluid.
Yeah,
And if you put that in a bucket and set it on your desk, I would swear it was like house paint.
Yeah. It's cool.
It's a neat effect.
But look, it matches all the rings and stuff I painted, so...
It's a sexy computer. That's why I can't believe you're tearing it apart to put it in a different case.
But I'm tearing it apart to put it in a sexier case.
It is a sexier case. That CaseLabs case is pretty
You're
amazing.
banging on the mic, dude.
We always do that on Chris's stream. They're like, stop banging on the table. We're like, don't tell us not to do things.
Don't tell me what to do.
You don't tell me. I do what I want. Yeah.
So yeah, the 900D, guys, one of the reasons why I'm changing it out is this case... As awesome it is to fit 480 rads in it, you can fit a 240 rad in the front still if I wanted. And
it's a huge case,
and
too.
Another 240 rad in the bottom with the long power supply, with this 480 rad and a 140 rad in the back if I wanted. It is shit for airflow.
Yeah, you're like a really tall guy too. So in your videos, when you're standing next to these cases,
look small, huh?
They look small. I was shocked when I saw how big these cases are, especially the CaseLabs one you have in the other room.
Yeah.
That's why when I look at these builds, I don't see how big the tubing and everything is because I'm looking at it relative to like what you have around it in yourself. That thing is massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
It's a big case. Everyone asks me what I'm going to be doing with it. Guys, it's going to a good close friend of mine locally. So I'm not selling it online. I'm not shipping it. I'm not giving it away. Well, I'm giving it away, but I'm not giving it away to you guys. No, I'm kidding.
But it won't fit into carry-on. How am I going to get it home? No, I'm just kidding.
Really? You would get rid of your CaseLabs case for this? I don't think so. Your CaseLabs case is shorter than this?
It is.
But it's a double wide.
It's a double wide, but still, it's just amazing to see. I mean, that looks like it's nearly the same height as those old. Remember back in like the late 80s,
beige
early 90s?
super towers.
Yeah, they were like really skinny, but remember
5.5.
That looks like it's about as tall as one of those damn things, just a lot wider.
Yeah, it's a good case. It's just shit for airflow. I mean, I can barely feel air coming in from that because of the obstructions in the front.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just. And if we had the hard drive cage there, you'd be getting no airflow to the middle.
And plus, the CaseLabs case is going to be a lot lighter weight. The aluminum's awesome.
Well, the case itself is physically lighter.
Yeah.
But the build is going to be getting heavier because it's getting a 480 rad and a 560 rad and 2 loops. And
so you need the case to be lighter.
It's going to be there's going to be about a half gallon of fluid in it.
Wow, I can't believe we have 600 plus people watching right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you hadn't had a chance, hit that like button. We only got 300 likes and 600 people in here. It really actually helps things out a lot. Helps people be able to find these videos and everything, and we appreciate it a lot. Also, go ahead and retweet out the stream. We'd love for people to see this. And even if you retweet it out and they don't make the live show, if they come to this URL, they're going to come back and see the recorded show.
I don't know. I felt like
doing. What are we doing, faces?
No, I was looking at the stream and like, So, Nathan Rivera says, what dye did you use? I used the Mayhem's dye.
Food coloring? No, I'm just kidding.
What a lot of people don't know is that the Mayhem's pastel concentrate, like the sunset yellow and the blood red and all the solid colors, Dragon Ice is the base.
Okay.
So Dragon Ice and Mayhem's teamed up for Mayhem's pastel.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of knew what I was getting here already, but the cooling capacity of the Dragon Ice, I wanted to check it and see how it works when you dye it yourself. So that's why I'm running the Dragon Ice in my system for testing. And they've actually messaged me recently like, hey, is there any chance of getting that review anytime this year? Working on it, guys. I want to do the review of it when I do the system swap.
Yeah. Do you have quick disconnects in there also?
No, I don't do quick disconnects. Never.
God, it seems like it'd be a pain in the ass.
I have pulled, and I did it on live stream once. I have pulled out entire loops assembled, graphics cards and everything without undoing anything.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been water cooling for so long. I hate to say it, but I am like a master at this.
No, you are. You're definitely. I mean, hell, even when I showed up, and you'll see this in the vlog, first thing Jay's doing is wrenching on a computer. We just get back from the airport, and it's like, boom, we're in the room, and he's wrenching on a computer.
Well, because I kind of had to.
Yeah, but now I got my own computer to work on over here. It's so pretty. Yeah, it's got big old 27-inch screen on it. Yeah.
I hooked my friends up. What can I say?
You're a good man, Jay. I'm glad I came down.
LOL, 2 people disliked when I said that. When I said what? I don't know.
Well, yeah, but like over 100 new people liked. No, thank you guys. Those likes really do help. We appreciate it. You hit that like button, you make us happy.
Maybe those people meant to click like, but they're really bad at shooters, and so they click dislike.
They're like they're like Jerry skills.
So guys, we'll just, what do you want to do? Maybe another 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah, we can do another 15, 20 minutes. Let's see. Are there any other questions in the backlog?
Yeah, let's do questions here. When it cools down a little bit later, we're going to probably do an impromptu live stream tonight. It's not guaranteed yet.
Yep.
We have a big day tomorrow.
We do.
We're talking about sellouts and sponsorships. We have a lunch meeting tomorrow with Roseville.
Yeah, and we're going to be on a show with Newegg.
And my monocle.
I know. I feel like such a richer right now.
Well, I knew you coming down here. You want to meet those guys, so I made a call. And of course, they want to meet you just as bad.
Yeah.
They're like, Jay, we already know you. Do you have to come, Jay? Okay, fine. We'll take Jay. If Jerry can come, Jay can come.
Well, Jay, I love you so much that I spent my own money on my own dime to fly a lackluster airline.
You mean you spent your AdSense money out of your YouTube
Oh, sorry.
account.
I spent your money to come down here and see Jay. So next time you guys call us all sellouts and be like, yeah, that YouTube money's and every penny I make off YouTube gets rolled back into my channel one way, shape, or form.
And Starbucks.
Yeah, it's Starbucks, transportation down to CJ, eating some sandwiches. What's strip
CJ?
club was pretty cool. No, was it?
What's CJ?
Oh, did I say CJ?
Yeah.
I meant
you mean
Subway.
TJ?
TJ.
Oh, wait. What's CJ? Is that sub place?
No, I think I was talking about Subway.
Oh, you said, to CJ. Oh!
To CJ. Yeah, okay.
Jeez, that was a legitimate blonde moment.
I talk so fast, sometimes the words just run together. I should have been an auctioneer in another life, huh, guys?
I thought CJ was an acronym for something. I was like, what's CJ? All right. Sorry, my bad.
CJ.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Oh my God.
All right, let's check the Twitter.
All right, let's get some questions here, guys. Come on, give us some questions.
Got 23 notes.
We want some questions. I want some hard-hitting questions here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Jeremiah Bellamy says, what antivirus programs do you use?
Oh, hold on. Before we answer that, somebody just brought up, they said, can you use food coloring in a water loop?
Absolutely not.
No, don't do it.
You have to understand, food coloring is a food product.
Yes.
Which will attract parasites and bacteria and other things. Everything that is in water cooling specific, distilled water aside, you have to put PT nuke or a biocide inside of distilled water, just 2 drops of it to keep algae from growing. But all of these fluids that are pre-mixed and stuff, they all have specific inhibitors in there to keep things from growing and metals from corroding.
Yep.
So no, please do not, for the love of God, do not put food dye in there unless you want to see, you want to create life.
Yep.
Then by all means go for it.
So back to the antivirus question, right? Who'd that come from? Jeremiah Bellamy?
Yeah. I use Symantec. Corporate solution, we use Symantec at work.
Mm-hmm. Symantec's a very common one. Norton's also a common one, though Norton is usually considered a resource hog. But Norton also has a lot of other things.
So is McAfee.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily just do virus scanning. They do stuff like full network protection solutions, packet monitoring. A lot of stuff that uses up a lot of memory. Me, I use Microsoft Security Essentials because it's free. And it's built to run very, very lean and mean with the operating system.
And that's what's on here. In fact, it's I should probably...
And to be honest, it necessarily, as far as the virus scanning goes and everything like that, I think it's number 3 on the benchmark list for the top virus scanner. Mm-hmm. There's better virus scanners than it, but it's free. It comes with Windows. It's very performant. I don't notice any performance or drop in frames per second or anything like that between enabling it and disabling, where I have with some other virus scanners. But there's another virus scanner that I used to use that I'd like to recommend, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It was one that was free for personal use.
AVG?
But it was AVG. That was it. AVG
I put
is actually
AVG on the wife's computer.
Yeah, it's actually a solid virus scanner. It's free for personal use as long as you don't buy all the extra features. And I would say that it's on par with Security Essentials as far as performance. I've never noticed a performance degradation on a system running AVG.
Right.
So hopefully that answers your question.
Ali Abdallah apologized for asking twice, but what do I think of the 295X2 from AMD? I think it's a great alternative to the Titan Z. I think it's a great alternative to Crossfire 290Xs if heat and space are an issue. I'm not a fan of the cooler on it, the hybrid air cooling because it's just another set of hoses and a place you have to find to hook up a radiator in your case. And if space is already an issue, that may be an issue. What does that say?
No, it didn't say anything. You just took a screen cap right as I was poking my eyes
someone's
out.
like, look at my eyes!
So look at my eyes when you talk to me, Jay. Oh, God.
But in terms of price to performance, I think it's right on par with where it should be. I think that's where the Titan Z should have been.
Yep. So Skizzo on Twitter asks if the Surface 2 RT, specifically the RT, not the Pro.
What's RT?
The RT is the ARM version of the Surface.
Gotcha. Not the Atom.
Right.
Was it i7s in this?
Yeah. There's not. The Surface 3 is an i7. It's a beast of a machine, and I am getting one. I just don't know when. I'm waiting for my corporate discount. But so the Surface 2 RT, would it be good for his mom just for using Word, Excel, and apps? The truth is, yes, the RT is phenomenal for battery life and everything if you're using the Office apps. But the downfall is you can't run conventional desktop applications. So make sure you check the store.
That ARM limitation?
Yes, it's because specifically on the ARM platform, we don't allow you to run any non-signed binaries on the desktop. So in layman's terms, you can only run what's in the store, which what's in the store is RT. You can only run the RT application, basically modern applications. Right. So make sure that in addition to Office, that all of the apps that she uses, like she uses Facebook and Twitter, there's apps for all that stuff in there, but make sure everything she has, there's an app for it in there. Because if there isn't an app in there for it, she's not going to be able to go get like a desktop equivalent or go just grab a program that she normally uses on her laptop and use it on there. Yeah. She just needs to know that ahead of time. Now, if she does have a requirement beyond that, then I would go with the Surface Pro, but you're talking quite a bit more money over the RT.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's your opinion on the amount of gigahertz on a CPU needed to run games? I have a Xenon E5 2.5 gigahertz clock. Should I use it? Absolutely. What a lot of people don't understand is that the Xeon is the i7 without integrated graphics. It's hyper-threading i7 with no integrated graphics. I don't know anyone who has an i7 who uses the integrated graphics. So,
I thought there was also, wasn't there an L1 cache performance boost too on it?
Well, on that specific Xeon he posted,
which one was it?
I don't know.
Okay, because I know the Xeon line historically has had a much
E5
larger
2.5.
or faster cache on it, like because enterprise
they're
operations
server
are
grade.
repetitive operations. That's what they're for.
The Xeon is server grade hardware.
Yep.
Let's see. Will the Corsair K70 red keys work on a CM store? Yes, they will, because their cherry switches are the same keycap. They may have a little different shape, or a keycap mount anyway. They may have a little different shape. They may have a little different arc. Or I had put mine on my my CM Storm. I can't remember which one it is. I gave it to the wife. It's in the other room. But anyway, it's a gaming keyboard. It's one of their. God, why am I drawing a blank right now?
Well, I played around with key swapping too on keyboards, and I noticed that the slight changes in the shape of them becomes really readily apparent when you start
typing.
mixing and matching them and stuff. Like I took so DOS keyboard. I have all the DOS keyboards basically. I have even the first revisions, the Pro 4, and between the last generation and the new generation, they changed the keycap slightly. You can't tell looking at the two keyboards side by side.
Yeah.
But as soon as you swap the keys over, the top is just enough different that if you're a touch typer, you notice it.
Well,
it bugs me.
What people don't realize is that the keycaps, the bottom of the keycaps, and the angle of the key is specifically determined based on the resting angle of the keyboard. So some keyboards are more upright, some are more flat. So the key is designed to give you that optimal typing angle. And if you take a keycap designed for one angle and put it on another keyboard, it may be offset or raised higher or lower than other keys on the keyboard.
And it will fit. It will fit. It's just not going to be a good experience.
Yeah, but anyway, my CM Storm mechanical keyboard, I had taken those red keys off my K70 and put them on there for a while.
Yep.
I ended up taking them off because my red keys wore out in like no time flat.
Yep. So iPolaris Gameplays asked me if I've tried the Surface Pro 3. Yes, I actually did get to try one. And I definitely want one now because not only for the performance boost on the i7 processor, but the drawing surface on the screen is much more responsive. And the screen aspect ratio is a little bit different. It's not that really wide aspect ratio anymore, which I prefer for a drawing surface. And that's what I really want my Surface to do. Like, the 2 does a good job with it. Like, I can open Photoshop and draw. Yeah. But there is a little bit of lag on the cursor, where there isn't on my Wacom drawing tablet. The Surface 3 solves that, and the Surface 3 is actually, like, legitimately good. If you're an artist, the Surface 3 would be just the most badass thing you could have.
There seems to be a lot of discussion going around right now about keyboard and switches and stuff. I just want to clarify, guys, on the review we did today, and we called them Cherry MX Blues, we legitimately thought they were Cherry switches because they look exactly
They're
like
a clone.
Cherry
They're
switches.
literally a clone of a Cherry switch.
They are clone. They're like a Kali brand or whatever, which is basically like I guess a Chinese knockoff of the German switches.
It was an easy mistake to make.
But let's just say this. every key press felt the same, like the same gram weight.
Yep.
And the same click, the same activation point.
Well, I took typing tests with it. The thing was solid.
Yeah.
I type on a Cherry MX Blue DOS keyboard at my office at work. It
felt the same.
And it's literally a German keyboard. DOS keyboard, it's a German keyboard. It's the German switches. And I couldn't tell the difference between the two. They feel identical.
So, very good knockoff.
Yeah.
That'd be why we couldn't see the word cherry anywhere on the screen. But it was a way for them to get that cherry feel with the RGB, which Corsair has, I guess, the actual exclusive on.
Yeah, it would also explain why Newegg actually said underneath. Remember how they said blue mechanical switches?
Yeah.
Instead of Cherry MX blue mechanical switches? And the thing is, I was even fooled by it because I've never seen a keyboard that didn't have Cherry MX switches. That's like the go-to switch of mechanical keyboards.
That's true, but there are some other brands that have off-brand or different types of Cherry, or not Cherry, but different types of mechanical switches. But usually you pull those keycaps off, they look entirely different. That would look just like a Cherry.
I honestly...
I mean, if I take this off right here...
Well, you know how many keyboards I have.
That's quite honestly a Cherry Brown.
Yep.
They look exactly like that, but blue.
I couldn't tell the difference.
We were both of us were fooled.
We were both fooled.
And by saying fooled...
Way to go, China.
And I hate to say fooled in the sense that it's the exact same feel and performance of it. It's just you get the RGB on the backlight of it.
Yeah, the only thing that could possibly be questioned...
the
only thing that could be questionable about it is we don't know about durability long-term.
Long-term.
So, Cherry MX switches, I think, are rated to, like 150 million or something activations.
Have you seen that video of how they test those keyboards?
No, but I'd imagine it's some hydraulic thing just nailing on
what
it
for
hours.
It's a hydraulic arm that basically just goes up and down the rows and it's hitting it like 20 times a second. It's just like... It just keeps going up and down the keyboard.
Yep.
It was a really cool video. In fact, it was kind of mesmerizing hearing all the clicks. And that it wasn't that one keyboard. There were just rows and rows and rows of them in a lab doing it at the same time.
Definitely. I saw another question up here that I just wanted to address. David Clooney said, did you talk about the Mushroom Network's Truffle?
George Clooney?
Yeah, is that George Clooney's brother? No, I doubt he's spelled differently. Anyways, so he asked if I talked about the Mushroom Network's Truffle Lite or whatever I'm using that costs $2,300. That's expensive. Yes, the Tuffel Network Switch that I have in my closet at home right now is very, very expensive. It's not a consumer solution. It's a business solution. Yeah. That's why it's so expensive. It is literally a 1U rack mount business class hardware device that bonds together network connections. Mushroom Networks wanted me to try this out for my application because my YouTube channel uses so much bandwidth and my streaming and everything. I consider it at this point like it has business needs.
Yeah.
So I'm working with them to test this out and to optimize it across my connections and everything. And in return for them helping me and giving me the device, I'm actually going to do a full end-to-end review of the whole thing in my particular application and do a whole bunch of testing and stuff like that. And then I have to pay for the monthly service on it, which is expensive. I mean, it's going to probably cost me between $100 and $200, maybe even more a month to bond those connections. But that prevents me from being DDoS attacked. That gives me solid, reliable bandwidth. It ensures that if half my network infrastructure goes down, the cable goes out, the DSL stays online, I always have a solid connection that can't be broken. That, to me, is worth more than the money.
Especially since you work from home so much.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too, guys. As a software developer, I do work from home as often as I can because I write the best code when I'm actually up in the nerd cave 12 hours a day uninterrupted. Yeah. And so I need that fast connection to work for RDP and remoting connections to be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
And so it's worth it. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, it's very expensive. It doesn't seem like a good deal to somebody who has a 100 megabit Comcast connection.
Right.
But realize I don't live in an area where I can get that. So in order for me to get that performance, I basically have to pay a huge premium, use a lot of external support services, and that's what I'm willing to do.
Yeah. Look at the stream buffering again. All right. So Ahmad Kala, who's actually been following me for a long time on Twitter, I know that.
Cool.
He says, need to know your favorite Starbucks drink.
Why is he yelling at us?
I don't know.
I need to know. Give me your Starbucks drink.
I think I know yours by heart. Let me see the cup
let's hear
there
it.
behind you.
No, stop. Here, we'll show him.
All right.
Here's my favorite drink.
You want a tall peppermint mocha.
Yep. Keep going.
In a grande cup.
Yep.
Extra whip.
Yep.
There's something
That's
I'm missing.
it.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what I'm missing. All right. I like Venti iced caramel upside down macchiatos.
What the hell is the upside down?
Okay, a macchiato, typically you have all the milk on the bottom. They put the shots on top, so it looks like it goes from, it's like white with all the brown on the top.
Yeah.
I don't like that because you take that first drink and all you get is milk.
Okay.
Upside down, they make it like any other coffee. They put the shots in first, then pour the milk in, stir it, and then...
Interesting.
So I don't know how, and I've talked to them before. I've asked the baristas so many times, like, do you know anyone who actually drinks the macchiatos the normal way? And they're like, most people get it upside down.
I've gotten a caramel macchiato before, and I've never thought to ask for it upside down, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
You take that first drink, and it's just super sweet milk.
Yum. No, it's like hummingbird food. But no, I totally get what you're saying. But you know what's funny is, have you ever tried ordering like a really ridiculous drink at Starbucks just to see if they can get it right?
No, because I already feel ridiculous saying, hey, I'd like a venti iced caramel macchiato upside down, please.
I've personally never done it, but I've seen my wife before order a drink where she's like, I want a tall, half 2%, half skim, 140-degree mocha in a grande cup with extra whip. Temperature specific. And they get it.
140. Does that mean that's put ice in it? Because isn't it normally like 200-degree water?
No. They change how long they steam the milk for.
Gotcha.
But it's funny. You can actually try this next time you go to Starbucks. Tell them you want a particular temperature. Say you want your mocha at 120, 125, 156. Give them a temperature. They'll do it. They'll actually do it. And so everybody always asks, it's like, Starbucks, oh my God, it's so expensive. Well, yeah, because you can literally get anything you want if you ask for it. You just have to ask for it.
Nathan Villarosa says, are you going to review any more RoCap products? They kind of disappeared with me when it came after CES. They sent me the headphones to review, and everyone loved the review. I did the silly voices, and then they were just like, poof, peace, bro, and they're out.
You know what? This is a little bit of an unorthodox request, but let's go ahead and throw it out there. If you guys want us to review something, tweet the company.
Yeah.
Tell them that you want your favorite tech reviewer to review a product.
It's one thing for us to hit up a company and say, hey, we think our audience would enjoy seeing your product. It's another thing to have 500 people say, we want this person to review this.
I would actually, you know what? I would like that. I would like it if I got contacted by a company and they were like, you know what? We've had 20 or 30 year people now contact us and say they'd like to see you review it. That's actually kind of cool.
I would like to recommend that you guys all hit up GT Omega. And say, Jayztwocents would love to have one of your chairs because he's too poor for a racing.
Liam's probably watching right now. Liam, hint. Come on, he's at 80,000 subs now.
Oh my God, I'm about to kill my kid.
Stop breaking stuff, dude.
See?
Oh, that's where your wheel is. Yeah, see, he just needs the fancy chair now, Liam.
Because this doesn't work so well.
Dude, I love that GT Omega chair, though. That thing's awesome.
This chair I have is not so comfortable. Normally when I'm driving and racing, iRacing, I'm like...
Yeah, and they don't work. I like the locking caster wheels, too.
Yeah,
because it sucks when you push on the pedals and you move around.
I have to put the pedals against the wall so they don't slide on me. And then I have to lean back so I can feel the... anyway.
Well, Awkward Josh asks, what is Jerry coded? Well, my primary languages are C, C++, and C#, depending on what I'm developing. If I'm developing kernel-level code that has to run platform agnostic, then I use C and C++. If I'm just programming app-level code that has to run on the Windows platform, I use .NET. For most stuff. So C# is my go-to language. I also know batch scripting, JScript, ASP.NET, MVC, Razor 3, all that stuff for web development. So a lot of people ask me why I don't have my own web page, but just like what Jay was saying earlier, it's a time thing. Yeah. In order for me to create a web page, I would like to have a lot more subscribers than I do now, because only a small percentage of those subscribers that are YouTube guys are going to want to come over to a website. And so in order for me to support that website, I need people that are enjoying it, because that's how I get motivated.
All right, so people are asking us, I guess a lot of people have asked us to talk about the GTX 880. Okay, so apparently rumors are saying that GTX 880 and the 870 could be seen as early as, in fact, I should just go ahead and do this, can be seen as early as Q4 2014. Now, they're talking about GM204 GPUs, which is the successor to GK104, which is kind of how they did the... GK104 pissed me off when it came to Kepler because it should have been the 780, but it's really the 680, which was the 660. I had a whole video on that. It pissed me off. But anyway...
Jay's the go-to guy for GPU stuff.
135% performance on the core over Kepler when it comes to Maxwell first generation, 2 times performance per watt. The thing that's supposed to be huge with, not Maxwell, but Volta, which I'm looking forward to. I mean, unified virtual memory with Maxwell, that's cool and all. But the Volta stacked RAM is what I'm looking forward to, because you really cut down the you really increase the IOPS and you cut down the communication delay between the GPU and the memory, because the memory is on top of each other on top of the GPU.
And honestly, it doesn't matter. The CPU, you have to be able to feed the GPU at max speed, otherwise you're just bottlenecking.
It makes me wonder what's going to change in terms of cooling. But anyway, I've seen supposedly it's supposed to have like 3,500 CUDA cores and be super power efficient.
The number of cores is blowing my mind.
I know, but I don't like to talk about speculation.
Yeah.
Because speculatory information is rarely ever even near accurate. So I just prefer not to talk about it too much. If a GTX 880 comes out, is it going to go in my main rig? Very unlikely that it will replace my 780s immediately, because I'm going to need Well, I have SLI now, so I have to have 2 of them. but no, I would feel more inclined to put if I got to review a new 880, I'd feel more inclined to put it in the test rig and then make that 780 work.
Yeah, because that's a big investment to get it all plumbed in and everything.
I would rather take that third 780, put it in here rather than putting an 880 in here.
Yeah, so I just want to address, Jaytech said that I'm not in the chat like I usually am. Well, just to let you know, I mean, I'm sitting here with Jay, and we're both watching chat together and responding to you guys. So I just don't want to be here sitting here typing in chat.
And to be fair, this is why we're kind of blocking the keyboard a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to
can't really get to it. So.
I technically got my laptop, but I'm using it to monitor the social feed right now. So
true. All right, a few more minutes here, guys. Wow, it's already 7:50. Holy crap. I want a Hackintosh, but own an older MacBook. Can't download Mavericks, whatever. I've been watching the stream from my phone. At the beginning, I finally made it to my desktop. Hey, good for you. What is this Highlander people keep asking about?
I don't know. Oh, the Highlander. That's the Logan's LAN party thing that he's doing. Guys, I don't have a lot of information on it yet. I know Timmy Tech TV kind of started a thing with him, and he invited me and Timmy to it.
I don't believe I'm invited. At least I haven't gotten a
cordial invite. You're not big enough.
Even if I had, I'm pretty fat.
No, not physical, not scale, not gravity wise.
Well, they have Timmy get in there.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, he's your minion.
Yeah, no, he's not really my minion, but he's like he kind of
invited by association,
sort of kind of thing.
No, I know where you're going.
I'd like to go though. I mean, I want to get more information on it because I like LAN parties, but if I got to travel on Southwest again, yeah.
I didn't see an invite if one came in, and if one did come in, it's very unlikely I'd get to go.
Yeah, if you know Logan, just get Jay and just tell him to invite Jay, and then Jay can say no because he's got a wife and kid.
I don't want your charity invite.
You shut your dirty whore mouth, Jay. You take my charity.
I feel like I wonder what'll happen right now if I did this with both of our faces in there.
What are you doing? The thing?
Yeah.
The thing?
Are you doing that thing again?
See, Austin said, Jerry, you plan on replacing the 680s? Hi, guys. I got a big mouth.
I like how it knows. It's like, well, just go to Jerry.
So, guys, I'm going to replace my 680s.
Here we go again.
Hopefully with some 780s. Well, it's funny when you see it on the screen, it's like a voice just comes to your head, right? Oh, it didn't stop to your own. Let's get it back. Whoa. Hey, give me back. You can't just steal all the thunder.
Don't get closer to me. That's
dirty. No, I was going to push you out. I was going to be like this. Here.
All right, we'll go with that. That was kind of what last night's stream entailed.
Yeah, if you guys want to go watch last night's Twitch stream on Jay's Twitch, it was out of control.
I love the playback. It never gets old.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I'm curious to see if anybody says anything over in the chat.
There's already some LOLs and stuff. So
yeah,
here we go again.
Yep. So the 680s are definitely getting replaced. It's just I keep getting on the fence. Every time I research like the R9 290, the Titan Z, or going with 2780s, I just keep thinking the next generation is right around the horizon. As we can see, that's probably going to happen. So I'm going to wait because I want to be in on the ground floor of something.
Well,
when it's brand new.
In terms of rumor and based on where it is on their roadmap, and guys, roadmaps change all the time. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the screen here real quick. They're showing the roadmap being right here on 2014. Based on that's the rollover of 2014 to 2015 right there. So they're thinking Q4 maybe. That's exactly what I've been thinking.
Yep.
I've been saying all along, guys, Nvidia tends to try and run their GPUs for about an 18-month cycle, for 18-month lifespan. So I'm anticipating later this year there being new graphics cards. Now, I can tell you right now that when it comes to AMD graphics cards, because if we're talking about new Nvidia stuff and you got to talk about new AMD stuff. I've had phone calls with AMD's corporate in Texas, and I've specifically mentioned that I'm interested in what their new GPUs later this year are going to be like. And this wasn't even an NDA thing. They just flat out said, they basically said to me I would not really anticipate any new graphics cards in 2014.
Yeah.
So there you go. So we're going to be having probably some leapfrog stuff going on where Nvidia is going to have the new card for 3 or 4 months, and then AMD will be 3 or 4 months later. So,
but we all know how cloak and dagger both those companies are. I mean,
absolutely.
GPUs are the most competitive market there is. So
right, and maybe AMD's just doing just reverse psychologying them again. Disappointed.
So Matthew Bulger said, do you like your GT Omega chair or racing sim chair more? Well, the racing sim chair, obviously for racing, I like more. You can't compare them because the racing sim chair is a fully designed, immersive solution for racing. The GT Omega chair, though, if you didn't have a full-blown dedicated, would be the best option before that. Yeah. But what I like the GT Omega chair for is when I'm coding and I'm sitting in front of my computer for long periods of time, I can actually recline the base at any angle separate from the back. So I can almost lay the chair completely flat, sitting in front of my desk and be comfortable. Yeah. It's like, it's seriously like the most lazy thing you've ever seen.
Oh, God, we need one more person to watch or someone to leave, please.
Oh, my God, please.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We were at 666 for a minute. That was,
we were hot.
We were going straight to hell.
It was getting hot.
Well, we are in California. We are under Satan's nuts right now.
Oh, man. It is like living near Satan's balls. All right, guys.
Yep.
Do you have another question you want to do?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we got that same thing. It's like, what kind of GPU is better, AMD or Nvidia? And the answer is... It's personal preference.
Depends on what you want. If you want the shadow play, you got to go with the AMD or Nvidia. If you want the mantle, you got to go with AMD.
And Crossfire, if you're doing multi-monitor gaming, Crossfire is good at certain things that AMD or Nvidia isn't, and vice versa.
I personally think SLI scales better than Crossfire.
It does, but I think that Crossfire has a better desktop solution for multi-monitors.
Timmy Tech TV's been having pretty good luck with his Crossfire 290s until his motherboard went.
Yeah, I
feel bad for that.
I know, you don't want a water cooling component to die because those are the hardest things to swap in and out.
Well, it's not only that. His motherboard wasn't water cooled, but the fact is it's under all the water cooling. So I felt his pain. There's been times I've had to rip something out, and all the water cooling's in the way. So
I'm just looking. Somebody said to answer Bob Marley's question, so he'll shut up. Like, what did he ask? I didn't see.
With a guy like Bob, right there.
Oh, is this the 290? Let's see.
Why buy the R9 295X2 when you can get dual R9 290s gigabyte wind forces that hit max 74 degrees? Please. I already said. I said specifically when I mentioned this earlier. To me, the 295X2 fits in where you have a space limitation.
Yep.
It's a space limitation type of card. That's what these dual cards have always been about. Space limitations. They know you can take two standalone cards like 290s or 290Xs, sit them in Crossfire, or on the Nvidia side, take two Titan Black editions, sit them in SLI, and get the exact same, if not better, performance than the dual cards handle in many instances.
Well, you do. You pay like you said, you pay a premium for something that's smaller.
You're also paying
for it. Compact.
You're also paying for it for the exclusive fact that it's a rare card. I mean, you can get them pretty easily right now, but remember the 590 and the 690, how hard those were to get?
Yeah. But it's just like memory, right? It's cheaper to buy, 4 8-gigabyte sims than 2 16-gigabyte.
Oh, yeah.
It just is because it's more expensive to pack something in a smaller space because you have to have better cooling considerations. You have to have a different layout.
Right.
That's why. I mean, that's what you're paying for. So the answer is, if you've got a massive case and you've got the cooling for it and the infrastructure for it, go ahead.
That's what that would be my recommendation. If you have a full tower case, you have the cooling needs, you have the cooling handled, you've got the power supply for it, go with 2.
Go with 2. And if you got a motherboard, then you can add a third later.
And I'm going to go ahead and say this right now because I'm sure there's someone in here who's asked me at some point, Jay, I have an AMD system which only has PCI 2.0, but the graphics cards say they're PCI 3.0. Am I losing any performance? No, because PCI 2.0 has still not been capped out on bandwidth.
Yeah.
PCI Express 3.0 cards work just fine, and PCI 2.0 motherboards on AMD.
They gimmick the hell out of Rev stuff like that. Like USB is another one like that. If you ever go buy a USB 3 hard drive or a USB 3 memory card, so many of the cheap ones, you'll see one that costs like $200 and one that costs like $30, and they're both USB 3. But they're not. The USB 3, actually, the data transfer bus inside of it's USB 2, and the interface is USB 3.
Right.
So just realize, it's a gimmick. Whenever there's something new, they want to be able to build the hardware and be able to say, oh, we support that bus. It doesn't mean they're utilizing it to its full potential.
Right. And they're not. Even with the new graphics cards and stuff. In fact, same thing, too, with, PCI 2.0, if you start going 2-way or 3-way, 4-way SLI, you're start, guys, you know what? The performance difference is negligible, and if you're already going to be dumping $2,000 plus in graphics cards, chances are you're not going to be on a PCI 2.0 board anyway. Yeah. Unless you're on AMD, in which case I would never recommend 3 or 4 graphics cards. Because the only motherboard you could do that in would be the Crossfire 5 Formula Z, and even then, AM3 is at the end of the road. So I hate to say it, but until Kaveri picks up and starts putting out some 8-core CPUs, because there are going to be Kaveri APU that are 8-core in the future.
Yep.
Right now, AMD's unfortunately has no upgrade future. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't get great gaming, great rendering, great streaming performance out of an AM3 Plus 8350 or 9570 or whatever. All I'm saying is that in the future, if you're waiting for something to upgrade to, it's not happening. You're going to have to get a whole new platform.
True story.
That's one of the reasons why I went from Z77 to Z97, because now going Z97, or going to be going, has an upgrade path. It has the 4790K, which I'm putting in until next year when the brand new Broadwell CPUs come out. So, anyway, guys, it's time to wrap it up.
Yep.
Jerry's got a vlog he's going to upload, or it's upload. He's going to
right after this. Probably in the next 30 minutes, you're going to see my new vlog online, the new Barna vlog, and that'll be me flying down here and everything to meet Jay for the first time. That's going to be pretty cool. And we already started shooting a vlog today. My goal is to shoot a vlog every day and edit it.
And it's harder than you guys think to do a vlog.
Especially on this.
Guys, I started shooting a vlog yesterday. Granted, I don't have a vlogging camera like he does, and you've liked the vlog I did to San Diego.
I did. I really liked that one. Yeah, you did.
But the moment I picked you up from the airport, this camera never turned on again.
I'm going to be honest, like, once you watch the vlog, there's some big empty windows. And it's because when you're interacting with somebody and everything, you're like, wow, I'm meeting Jay, we're hanging out, we're doing stuff, and you just totally forget about the camera.
Like, hey, I'm at the airport now, and it's now nighttime.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, guys, we're going to get on out of here at Barnacules right here on Twitter. Same thing with Facebook. You can
at Jayztwocents.
You can find all his stuff at barnnerd.com.
Yeah, just barnnerd.com. BARNNERD.com.
I need to get a redirected website like you have.
You should. It's so easy to do.
Guys, I have an audience request here. My email address is jayztwocents@gmail.com or jay@jayztwocents.com. If anyone there is willing to give me timestamps on the topics of this video or this stream, you have no idea how grateful I'd be. I'd probably be willing to give you a follow, because we don't have time to go back and watch 2 hours worth of stream to go, okay, timestamp this topic, this topic. So if anyone's willing to do that and send me the timestamps to my email address, I'll do something special for you, because you have no idea how much it helps. People request it.
That's a fantastic idea. I like that.
People request it from us. I don't have the time to go back and watch. I just can't.
And one more thing. This is a cool thing that I learned. Chris and I did it on our stream, and it's really neat. So if you guys made it to the end of this live stream and watched the entire thing, whether it be the recorded or the live stream, I want you to go over on Twitter, and I just want you to tweet #FUBAR. Just #FUBAR. And that'll basically let us know that you guys watched the stream to the end. Don't say I watched the stream to the end, #FUBAR.
Yeah,
just work it in.
All the people who are in here now who came in after the stream started, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't you dare.
If you rewatch it, do it.
It's just fun because it's like a little social experiment, because if you guys are watching this in a week or a month or even 5 years down the road, it's like we're going to know if you guys use that. We'll be like, hey, you watched it.
I don't know. All right, guys. Anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to roll the outro. Get the heck on out of here. As always, we love the fact you guys hung out with us today. Who knows when this is going to happen again? Yeah, it's going to happen again.
Jay's coming up to me next time, so the next one will be us in the nerd cave.
So the reality is, we could be doing this twice a year.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Time to get on out of here. As always, we will see you in the next one.
Yep. Take it easy.